Sit back and relax while you listen to Train Kickers podcast. I'm Dave, and along with my co-host Dan, we're going to take you all around the world of miniature wargaming. On tonight's episode, unfortunately we can't have Steve on. Our schedule is just a little bit mismatched at the moment. But since we have Dan here and he had some access to the Mechanicus playtest files for Horus Heresy, we're going to discuss some of those that we found. They are out there. They're a little bit tougher to find than some of the other playtest files, so we thought it might be kind of good to talk about what we see from it and what we expect for whenever GW actually puts out the document that was originally supposed to be day one. And now, on to the show. All right, Dan, and how are you on this, what is it, Tuesday? I didn't even know what day it was anymore.
No, I'm good. Father's Day was a hit when this comes out. I spent most of it in the hospital.
Nothing too serious. Nothing
too
terrible.
Serious. Only 10 stitches. I had a fight with glass. I fought with glass and the glass won. But yeah, no, it was overall not bad. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, stitches have to stand for a week and then that's about it.
So it's only a week? That's not so bad then. Okay.
Yeah, it's only 10 stitches. No, and like, again, it just cut to the muscle and that was it. Which seems really bad, but as long as it didn't cut the tendon, that's the worst.
Oh, okay.
So it cut to muscle. It was a deep cut. The muscle's repairing.
Okay.
That's about it. Nothing I can do about it. No reason to be so mad about it. So it just is what it is, sadly.
Which hand was it? I don't remember.
Oh, of course, it was the right hand.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Of course, why wouldn't you? The hand that I require consistently.
I think when it happened, when we saw that, I think Steve and I were talking briefly, and we said, well, it's a good thing he got most of his painting done, or he didn't end up going with one of the Horus Heresy boxes, because otherwise you'd just be sitting there staring at the box, unable to work on it, because you can't use your hand.
Fun fact, I'm painting right now. It's just I can't use my ring finger. It like doesn't want to bend, which is ever so slightly annoying.
Okay. But you have more use than I thought you did, because I thought it might be like almost essentially in traction.
It's weird. I'm painting like some weird British person with my finger up in the air, with my ring finger straightened.
You're very fancy.
Because it like refuses to bend. It's like bending a little bit now. It's starting to repair itself, but
And apologies to our British audience, which, depending on the month, is our more popular audience.
Oh shit!
It's all good.
A whole fucking nation.
It's all good.
Oh man.
All right. So why don't we, since you're discussing what you're working on, why don't we talk about what sort of hobby you've been able to do with your now busted finger?
Yeah, so it's funny because before I even busted, I was working on some blood crushers. I got through 15 blood. Wait, hold on. They're not called the Juggernauts. The Juggernauts, what they're called. So I got through. I have to remember, blood crushers is the unit. Juggernaut is the dog. So I painted up 15 Juggernauts without the riders because God knows that I had to paint them separately. Got that done real quick. I was actually fairly surprised with how easy that was. And it wasn't really a simplistic paint scheme, but it was enough to kind of, I thought it would take me longer, but I guess not. And right now, I'm just putting the finishing touches on some bloodletters. That's really it. And they're going to go right on top of the juggies.
Okay.
Because they're already sprayed and everything. That was all my hobby. What about you?
So I did pick up Heresy stuff. And since this is Heresy focus, we'll go over this for a bit. So I decided to go a little wild. Because now I have nothing for Heresy. I haven't had a Space Marine. The last time I had anything Space Marine, other than the ones that I bought earlier as test models, I haven't had a Space Marine since 5th edition. The last time I did anything with Space Marines was Blood Angels. Is the army I started with. So I was like, you know what? Okay, if we're getting into this game, a bunch of us are playing it. Okay, let me get in. Doing Dark Angels, so I'm like, okay, I want Cataphracti. They're great. They come in the box. Oh, Spartan. That's awesome. Comes in the box. Oh, Contemptors. They're great. Come in the box. I got the Mark IIIs whenever GW gives us that. Have they given you any information of when that order is supposed to come in?
No, but I'm about to send an email. To give you an idea, we ordered
like $800 worth of stuff.
Lord have mercy. We ordered an $800+ order for dice and transfers and Mark III and all this.
Yeah.
We haven't even gotten like an inkling an inkling on what they're when they're shipping it,
No.
which is just what the fuck.
No, so
But yeah,
because with that, I decided to go with two of the big boxes. One, since Dan decided to stick with essentially all of his armies that aren't any form of Space Marine, which you have. Am I correct? Oh no, a Solar Auxilia. That's the only one you have, because otherwise you have every
because I'm
army
not
that they
painting.
have that isn't a Space Marine.
Yes, I
Yeah.
refuse to paint a million small dudes. But,
No.
I have every army that is not a legion.
Yeah. So since he didn't have it, obviously he wasn't going to be able to get the book right away. So I was like, okay, well, charge him a bit for the book, same sort of cost as some of the other books. I think about the different pieces in there. I do want more Cataphracti because I want to be able to run more of Deathwing style stuff, more Contemptors because I absolutely love those. I'm like, you know what? And the beaks in there, I have 40 shoulder pads, which is what I'm currently clipping from Forge World. I also have 40 of the Dark Angel heads from Forge World. So it's okay. I can make those guys look a little bit more acceptable to me because I don't want a bunch of beak boys. Not at least for Dark Angels. I don't really like the fit personally. So I said, okay, I can use those guys for heavy weapon squads, and then or just special weapons, heavy weapons, all that sort of stuff. And what I want to do also, I'm probably going to paint some of the beaks, maybe 10 or maybe a little bit more, as well as one of the Praetors actually as Sons of Horus. So that way, if I'm showing the game to someone, I have something that looks of a different color. And plus, if I ever ally in, I kind of like some of their stuff. They look neat, and their paint, honestly, it's just their paint scheme looks like it'd be fun to do.
Yeah, there was a really cool Reddit article of someone who painted a Sons of Horus Praetor, and it was, it was like a beautiful, like greenish tan. I don't know if I sent it to you guys.
I
have no
I
idea.
don't think so. While we're sitting here quickly talking about this, I'm gonna look up the one guy I've been watching, and of course, off the top of my head, I can't remember his name, but he did essentially sort of quick schemes for it all. So now you can take there it is, Mediocre Hobbies. So that's the guy, Mediocre Hobbies. If you're watching on YouTube, I'll put a link in the description. But he went through and did, hey, here's a sort of quick way to do all 18 legions with mostly essentially a base, some contrast, highlights up, a few other bits. So he shows you, if you have some more time, here's what you could do. Say for his Sons of Horus, he's like, okay, here's the way I shade it and all. Here's the contrast I use. Oh, if you want it to look a little nicer, we can use some of this paint. We can do a little bit extra steps, but you're going to have 40 plus of these guys. Here's a way to get it, to spend only a few minutes per guy and you're happy. I liked his scheme, so I'm like, okay, I'm going to follow that. So I have that. So for what I've been working on, I currently have worked on one box. The other one I have not cracked open yet. I built a Spartan. I have to finish magnetizing on the trying to think. I think some of the front weapons. Same thing on the Kratos. The Kratos is done. I am working on magnetizing the Dozer Blade because I don't want it on there all the time, but I'm testing out some plans of if that'll magnetize.
Is the Kratos Dozer Blade as fucking large as the pictures make it out
Yes,
to be?
it is huge. The piece itself is like 7 pieces. It is very, very big. Because what you normally get, if you think of like a Rhino, which I built as well, a Rhino Dozer Blade is very easy to magnetize because the magnets are strong enough that even though most of it hangs to the front, a reasonable magnet on the back will keep it straight. The Kratos one, the magnets don't hold it that way. They will keep it from like falling off 100%, but it'll be touching the ground. So I'm messing around with some connectors underneath on the Dozer Blade itself to essentially keep it from being able to bend. So the magnets will keep it from falling straight down, and the part I put underneath will keep it from essentially rotating around. So I'm going to try that. I mean, if it doesn't work, it doesn't work, but I'm giving that a shot. I've magnetized most of that. I'm still working on the sponsons for how exactly I want to do the magnetization on those. Put my Rhino together. That's all done. Built 10 Terminators, including with some of the options from Forge World stuff on those guys. The other ones. So, small gripes about the kit. About the box in general. The box is great. It's great. great deal. You get tons of stuff in there. It's a 2,000 point army if you want it to be. It could be lower if you want, but if you want to throw in some extras, you can easily get to that. So it's super playable. When I was flipping through the book for instructions, at the end, they give you what each unit is. Essentially, hey, here's the unit, here's some points cost, here's their outfitted, here's what they can take, so that way you can kind of play right out of the box. It gives you a chance to be able to play it.
Hey, that's kind of cool, God.
Now, I don't have it in front of me, so I'm guessing on the points. Normally, a unit of 5 Cataphracti base, so nothing special, base is 175. That is your combi bolter and a power weapon. And you can choose whatever type of power weapon, because anytime they say power weapon, you always get your choice. When I looked at it there, before I even started putting it together, I'm like, why is it saying these guys are 250 points? I'm like, that's like 70 some points. I forget it was 250. It might have been a little bit more, or a little bit less. But it was about 70 some points extra. I said, okay, why are they so much more? Oh, because the sprues that are in there come with a single power weapon, one single power sword. The other options, a lot of the other options are there. So they give you plenty of lightning claws. They give you both power fists. They give you chain fists. They give you a heavy flamer. They don't give you the other heavy weapon options, but they give you a heavy flamer. But that means the power fist on those guys, I want to say, is an extra 10. It might be more. I don't have it in front of me. It's like an extra 10. Lightning claws are an extra 10 for a pair and all. So the base way they gave you to run the unit, based off of what's out of the box, is 200 some points. Close to 250, just to be able to do it. So that's the one gripe I have so far, is that I don't, if I want to run a bunch of these guys, I don't want them to cost me a whole lot extra. I'd rather be able to have maybe a couple power swords or some power axes. So I'm going to either get power swords printed, or get them from another source, maybe some forgeable ones. I haven't decided what I want to do, but some people I know have pieces so I can print those because they didn't include it in the kit. So I do want some power axes. So I built 10 of them. The other 10 I'm going to build up into the point of doing power axes. Get those power axes, put those guys together. Contemptor, I'm magnetizing now. I might put out a short video about this because I think this is interesting. This is something that was a little different. Normally when you hit a Contemptor, if you get like a Forge Roll one, they come with everything you need to put a full arm on when you buy the arms. So what I mean by that is they have the connector to the body. They have what you essentially would maybe call the elbow, which is a flat piece with a gear sticking straight down from it, sticking perpendicular to it. And then that is what actually hooks into your weapon. So when you buy it from Forge World, you have that connector piece, essentially, like I said, the elbow, for all the weapons you buy. In this kit, since your Contemptor only has 2 arms, they give you 2 elbow connectors. That's it. Meanwhile, there's, 5 or 6 weapon options in the kit? And lo and behold, obviously, there's some weapon options that aren't there, so there'll be more options later in the future that they'll put out. So that just doesn't work. So what I found is that a 3x1, so 3 millimeters by 1 millimeter thick round magnet, all of those will fit perfectly into where the connection occurs. They fit perfectly into the elbow joint. I stuck 1 magnet on each side of the geared piece in the elbow joint. And then for the weapons, on the left side of every weapon, before I glue it together, I'm sinking a 3x1 into it. Correct polarization and all. That's more than enough to hold it, because I do have some concerns if I put magnets on both sides, that over time, they're going to, because obviously they'll have to have a polarity that wants to join together. Over time, they'll just tear themselves out, would be a problem, potentially. Actually, would they have to be together? No, actually, you might be able to get them back the other way if I think about it. So, this would be north. I'm not sure. I have to think if that would be a thing or not. So right now, I'm only putting in 1 magnet. I might put in the others if I feel it's not going to cause any issues. But the one is strong enough because it's a direct connection once you plug it in there.
Exactly. Okay.
And because some of the weapons hold well enough that you don't need to do it. Some of them absolutely don't. So this is what I'm doing for now. And I think that's about where I am. Oh, I put the rest of my interemptors together. I put my Forge World Praetors together. I put one of the other Praetors together. So the hope
How would you
is
like the how
good.
would you like the Forge World Praetors? Because that has been a topic of hot contention.
Ooh, okay. Let me tell you my thoughts, and then we'll talk about the hot contention. Contention. I like their look. I think now I have the Legion specific ones. What I will say is I absolutely love the look. I think they fit the army well. They have a lot of iconography. They look great. My big problem with them is loadouts. So my essentially my non-cataphracti Praetor, you can put him with his combi bolter or whatever. That's fine. Or he has a boarding shield. I put him with the boarding shield because I like the look of that. I think it's the best way to make the model look. And he has that and essentially a sword, which you can run as either power sword or paragon blade, or for us, one of our tyrannic great swords, if you wish. However, Praetors have iron halos. And the boarding shield, as far as I can tell, all it does is confer an invul save that's worse than the iron halo.
I
Which,
think it also increases. I don't know. I don't have the Liber Hereticus in front of
no,
me.
it doesn't
It
increase
doesn't
your.
increase?
Not now. If
Oh.
you're in a breacher squad, I think they can get some increases. But naturally, no. It actually says on there that it doesn't allow for an increase when you look in the book. So yeah, it doesn't actually help. So like that guy, he's really cool. He's a great looking model, but they don't really give you options. So I'm kind of stuck with the way he is. I'm actually going to probably run him as a Centurion and just run him as one of the type in there that I want to do. For my one in Cataphracti, again, he's a really cool looking dude. He's got a sword. He's got a which one's the I forget which one. It's a Volkite something. One of them. I forget which one.
Volkite Charger.
Volkite
No,
Charger.
It's the pistol version, so it might not be the
Serpentina.
Charger. It's the Serpentina. Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
it might be that one, or he might even have a charger. Like he's a big, heavy dude, so he might be carrying a charger in his hand, which looks cool. And honestly, I like Volkite stuff, so I'm happy about that. But that's the way he comes. There was no options in that one. So if you don't want exactly the model the way it is, no good. Swords are super bendy, but that's easily fixed. So I like them, but I feel a lack of option. Great lack of option. When you look at in the book, the amount of options you have is staggering. And even out of the big Horus Heresy box, those Praetors, there's no real option. You know, you have one set of them.
I think most people, I think most people converted that Praetor on their own. So they had bits from previous armies that they had.
Yeah.
And then what they did was they converted that Praetor to be something else. I don't know if that makes any sense. So
Okay.
like that extra, that extra bits for the head, or they had extra bits for this or that. And so they took that and they used that as the bits for the Praetor, I think is what they did.
Yeah. I mean, I overall, now that I have those models in my hand, the Praetor models I do think are pretty cool. They're a little busy. They're in my mind they're a bit too busy, but otherwise
Very
they look
baroque.
pretty cool.
Very, very, very baroque.
Yes, and big. They're much. They're a whole like size up on things. What I'm using, at least so far, since I have several Praetors and all, I'm going to use the one that they painted for the Imperial Fist, the one with his sword up in the air. I'm going to paint him essentially as my librarian. I put a Dark Angel's head on him, so he's going to be the librarian guy. Because I don't need another Praetor. And I figure, okay, he's got a sword. Okay, that dude's rocking a Force sword then. Because if I do it in the right color scheme, that'll look fine. But nowhere near done with hobby stuff. I still have plenty to work on. The plan, we're going to see if it's realistic or not, because I got some schoolwork to do as well. But the plan is this week to have everything built. And then next week starts the painting. I think
schoolwork.
Yeah, well, I got like exams to grade and stuff like that, because we still have 2 weeks left.
You know when we finish, right?
No, when do you finish?
The 28th, bro.
Oh, I'm finished technically on the 29th for my summer sessions.
Yeah, I know. You're literally finished the day after we're fucking finished.
Yeah.
It's insanity.
a lot done. Still tons and tons and tons to do, but the next go round of builds always goes faster. So
Because you know what you're doing. It's like painting, yeah.
yes. Although the unfortunate thing is I don't really have much I can with certain rights of war I could play it, but I don't really have so much I can do yet until I get those 2 boxes of Mark IIIs that I need. Whenever GW sends us that
We
order.
are starting, yeah, we are starting very small too. That's the other good news.
Yes.
So we're not going to start at like 3,000 points.
God
We're
no.
starting zone mortality.
Yep.
Very small, very.
So
But yeah, no, I was going to email GW tonight and be like, excuse me, this is an $800 order. Can you at least tell me when it's going to be sent out, please?
yeah.
I
Our
don't want to be an asshole, but it's like,
it's getting ridiculous the fact they didn't send you to you yet.
yeah, I don't want, like I said, I don't want to be an asshole, but it's also $800.
Yeah,
So
and by
please.
this point, things are out. They should have at least told you or had something. For a bit about, so we were going to record the other night. That's the day Dan hurt himself, so we didn't record then. We are, the plan is next week to release an episode about slow grower leagues and escalation leagues, that kind of work. And we'll discuss then a little bit what we're doing. But yeah, our plan is to start Zone Mortalis, and then I do have the Patreon and all for Gorilla Miniatures Games, so I think we might try to run the one that he put together because that's a nice, easy one.
That
It looks
does look
cool,
good, yes.
and I'll it's his property, so I don't want to give too many details. But next week we'll give enough detail that way you can tell if it sounds cool to you, without giving you any specifics, because he does have it for stores. Stores can request it for free, or if you're a patron of his. And he puts out a lot of good content. His was one of the best spots early before all these books were out to learn about the legions and exactly what they do. So it's never a bad idea to support content creators. But
Never.
that is it for me for hobby,
sounds
as
like
I still have way too much to do.
No, but I mean, it's a good discussion, man.
Yeah, it'll be nice when I'm at a point where I feel there's enough to play with. Maybe by Friday I'll have it, if not by next week for sure. But the hope is to have everything that I have currently assembled and done. But we'll see. But all right. News wise, I think we're gonna probably mostly be skipping news, just because maybe we'll briefly touch on a few things that we know about.
I mean, besides the release, the huge release.
Yes, so a lot of that stuff is out. Next week we're gonna, when we record again, we have all that. We're gonna detail out what we have, what we know we're waiting on, what we think is coming next, all of that. I know
that plastic.
Yes.
I feel like that plastic Land Raider is a definite coming out.
Oh,
people are always
they talked about it as the Proteus, you mean?
Yeah.
No, they showed it. They definitely have talked about it and said it's a thing. We just don't know when. They gave no, as far as I know, I think they gave a roadmap. I don't know if it was on the roadmap or not, but they didn't really give us a good indication of when to expect that kit. But they did tell us it is a thing. The one bit of news that I do know off the top of my head, this is June 21st that we're recording, that today they dropped the points for Age of Sigmar. The points update.
Yes, they did. They did.
Did you get point changes? I didn't.
Yes,
I think, no, one thing went up by 10 points.
Yeah, so Ogres did not. Did not change at all, which is fine. I mean, Ogres really only take their big things anyway.
Yeah.
Although with the new book coming out, I think that Gluttons are going to be a lot better now because they changed the way melee works.
Yep.
The whole entire second rank fights, which was awful for like Gluttons. You would take them and you have to take a unit of 6, and like you take a unit of 6 and they're in 40 mil bases.
Yep.
And they only have 1 inch reach. So I was like, why even take them in the first place? But now with that change, I feel like now it's a lot nicer to take Gluttons. That's probably why they didn't change their points at all. And I'm okay with that. For my demons, though, I'm laughing because it was such a ridiculous change. For my demons,
did they up Bellacore?
You ready?
Yeah.
No. Well, I don't know about Bellacore because I don't fuck with magic. That's some Zin shit. I'm Corn all the way, baby. They decreased the points for bloodletters.
What were they before?
Not not much. I think it's down by 5 points though.
Ooh,
So they
that's a
went from either
lot.
like 95 to 90
Okay, for the unit. Got
or
it.
8. Yeah, for the unit,
Yeah.
yeah. So they're down to 5 points. Which saved me a grand total of, are you ready for this shit?
20 points.
35
30 points.
points. 35 points. I don't know what I'm gonna do with all this money.
Because Sigmar is the type of thing where you buy units. And you can't buy extra guys. It's not like, oh, here's the base unit and I can buy a few more. It's like, no, you want more, buy the same amount again. And they might be a different unit or same unit. There's not and there's not upgrades really. Not to a large extent, not points wise upgrades.
So the only thing I was thinking is like, I think, but I can't even cast the damn thing, I think. I have to look up their like Corn endless spells kind of nonsense.
Yeah.
Because I know they have those weird, they're spells but not spells, I guess is the best way to put that.
They wanted to give them
Um,
endless spells, but they can't use that word at the end.
yeah, so
Yeah.
it's like the weird axe thing, the floating skull. It's a bunch of different stuff, but I'll check those out, see if one is 35 points and just stick it in the fucking list.
Yeah.
Because you don't get points for being under either, which is horrible.
No. Oh yeah, certain endless spells. There might be something like that that's cheap enough for you to be able to
Yeah.
take. Because there's even ones
Well,
that
you
are
can only take the
universal.
corn shit anyway.
Yeah.
We can only take the corn shit, so
Oh. Oh yeah.
yeah, it's that weird. It's like the skull with the bleeding eyes. I know. Okay, so it's the skull with the bleeding eyes. It's the axe that's like hitting the ground. There's one more that I literally.
I honestly don't use any endless spells, so I don't
They,
know them
I'll
well.
put it this way: you've probably never seen them because they're that bad. So
Oh, are they?
no loss there. Yeah, no loss there.
Well, you guys have endless spells. We don't technically have any. So, oh, it's invocations they call them.
Ah, okay, that's what it is. Yeah,
The
yeah, yeah.
bleeding icon is 50 points. Now, this is of the old thing. Maybe it got cheaper. I haven't updated yet. 60 points for the Hexagore skulls, and the Wraith Axe was 85. Maybe it
Oh
got
god, so another
cheaper, but
35. Well, I guess I'm just going to be playing 35 points under then.
yeah. They for my army, so for Cruel Boys, the one change that I know, I don't think anything else got points change for us that I've noticed. The one thing they did change, and I love this change. I think it's really good. Before, Gut Rippers were only battle line. You had no option otherwise, unless you played one of the other sub factions. Then you could make some of our bow guys to be battle line. But then that kind of puts you in that it automatically meant that Big Yellows was the one that you used. What they did was now, for every Gut Ripper unit that you include in the army, one unit of Hobgrots counts as battle line.
Well, that's kind of. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Where
That's
before,
neat.
Hobgrots, at first I was very, ugh, these things are terrible. I don't know why you'd ever take them. They're no good. Then I started using them. I said, well, you know what? Hey, they actually have range. They can actually hurt people at range. They're cheap. They're 80 points for 10 of them. So they're nice and cheap. And they actually were doing work for me. They don't survive very good, but they can actually do you some work. But they weren't battle line at all. So they were an additional thing that you ended up taking. Now that I can start putting them in terms of battle line, I don't necessarily have to have my Bolt Boys be my battle line units and things like that. Since they want to emphasize so much to be taking essentially normal units, they fit that role perfectly. So it's good because I have like 20 of them painted up. And I usually do run the 20, so being able to count them as battle line will be nice. But I didn't look at much else of it. I don't know what other points changes they did or anything like that. Hopefully Order got a little bit of a
Trek went
correction.
up. Wait, Go Trek went up, which I
He
love Go
needed to.
Trek and I like Go Trek. Yeah, he needed to, but he's also now like pretty. Like it sucks in casual play. He's an absolute nightmare. In tournament play, he's never seen because people don't play around him. So he's like this weird kind of. He's either always seen or never seen.
That sounds
So
not that people who play casual are necessarily noobs, but it's sort of like a noob stomper thing. If
yeah,
you don't bring a good list, you're not going to be able to stop him.
I don't think you're able to stop him, period.
Oh no. Oh, even
Like
just a
Go
better
Trek is just
list, you
Go
just know
Trek.
what to do about him, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. Go Trek. The way you deal with Go Trek is you just don't look at him.
Okay.
or you just avoid him, or because Gotrek will literally punch anyone in their face. I think doesn't he kill? I feel like he kills what's his face? Who's the big bad of chaos?
They got a lot of
Big
big
bad of chaos.
bads.
He rides a dragon.
I don't care. Oh, I have no
Tri-
idea.
he he rides the tri-headed dragon. I
Oh,
literally can't remember. I'm
Archeon.
forgetting. I don't know why.
Archeon.
Archeon. Yeah, he literally punches Archeon in the face.
Okay.
He looks at Archeon. It's quite funny. Like anyone 1-to-1 will Gotrek will just because it's Gotrek.
Yeah. All right. I don't think there's any other big news, at least for the moment, or nothing that we won't get into next time if something else big comes out. But especially for this, there's some other cool stuff, but nothing that's so relevant for our main discussion here. So we might as well get into that main discussion. So, like I said, we tried to record the other night, and unfortunately some stuff came up. We couldn't do it. And Steve and I's schedules are very off from each other. Normally Mondays and Wednesdays I have free, so we can record on one of those. Like if a certain night doesn't work out, Sunday doesn't work out, okay, I have those days off, we can do it. Right now, those are the nights I teach. I teach till essentially I don't get home till 10 p.m. Those are the nights Steve has free. The 2 nights that I have off now, Steve is busy. You and I both usually go on Fridays, like Maplewood or something like that. Weekends on Saturday could be a little hit and miss. So we just knew this week we weren't going to get anything, unfortunately, with all three of us. So I talked to Dan and I said, okay, well, since Steve won't be here, we'll save it a week to talk about essentially escalation leagues and that sort of topic. And I said, okay, well, GW, in non-surprising GW fashion, did not release the day one books and all, or the day one PDFs that they said they would. They mentioned how if you were one of the other armies, they were going to give you something to play with. That didn't happen. So we thought, we were, through means we're not going to go into, I don't even know all, but we have our hands on some of the playtest files for Mechanicum. We thought that might be a useful thing to discuss in case anyone actually does have one of these armies. And we can talk a little bit about what seems to be the differences as we see it. There'll be, of course, the very big caveat that this stuff could change. However, if you did see any of the playtests, which they were all over the place, the playtests for the Traitor and Loyalist books, very little changed. The overall core and the way they worked, as far as I'm aware, and everything I've looked through, stayed pretty much identical.
The biggest change that we saw was the addition of brutal as a rule.
Yes.
That is pretty much like the biggest change. And I'll tell you right now, from kind of glancing over these Mechanicum leaks, there is no brutal in any weapon.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if that's going to be the major caveat or the major change, adding brutal to certain weapons.
Oh, most definitely. Then, yeah, it didn't have that as the thing. But everything else that we saw in those leaks was correct. So they were 95% right. So this discussion, we don't know how long this discussion is necessarily going to be valid for, but it's a worthwhile discussion to have. And if you do have one of these armies, or you want to consider it, or building it up at all, that it gives you an idea of exactly what you should see in this new edition, short of, I said, most likely what weapons are going to be brutal. And as we discuss, we can probably talk about which ones should be brutal, because it's going to be pretty obvious.
And there are a couple here that I'm already thinking definitely going to.
Yeah. All right. Now, this is an army Dan has. He was playing it the other week. You were playing it with these playtests, so why don't you discuss that just a little bit?
So, I was playing it with the new playtest rules, and I gotta say, I actually liked it. So Mechanicum in the first edition was a bit oppressive. That's, as a Mechanicum player, I'm honestly saying it's a bit oppressive. You have many AP2 weapons, especially you have the AP2 pie plate weapon. That's a large blast, and it made you re-roll your cover saves, successful because of cover saves. It was a bit oppressive as a Mechanicum player, and it was kind of hard to play down. You still could, but just the amount of tools you had, much like Custodes when they first started in 9th edition, it's a very hard army to play down. Now, I feel like Mechanicum, it's not even Mechanicum changed. I think the Legions changed so much that it now brings it up to the level that Mechanicum is, while also nerfing some of the big Mechanicum oopsies.
Okay.
So for those people listening, the pie plate that was AP2, no longer there. It's working like Plasma does for Legions, which is breaching. But yeah, so that was my overall take. I'll get into more specifics when we hit certain things. But overall, I actually like it a lot, and I like the fact that it plays very much like a Legion, but different.
Well,
It'll make sense when we talk about like the relics and Cybertheurgy.
no, I mean, it does make sense because you want some sort of baseline similarities between them. If they play so unbelievably different, it is exceedingly hard to balance, and that's probably the issue GW ran into in the first edition. Since they've toned up all the legions, it can make these feel a lot more in line. So,
I
all
mean,
right, how would you like to start this discussion? What makes the most sense?
I dropped the first 3 pages or 4 pages, so I'm going to skip all because the first couple pages are fluff, fluff, fluff. Really cool fluff. Don't get me wrong, but it's fluff. I'm going to skip to kind of the Lords of War and then the Warlord traits because that's kind of where it starts changing.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't have the rulebook in front of me, but where it says Lords of War and Primarchs, there are no Primarchs, by the way, in Mechanicum. We have Scoria, which I'm not. I don't know whether to call him or it. I guess I don't even know if it's a Primarch or not. But anyway, it's so it's weird because Custodes, Solar Auxilia, and Mechanicum had this problem where they don't have Primarchs, but they have Primarch like characters.
Yeah,
So that's why I'm like, whatever. But point is, Lord of War. I don't know if this matches the rulebook, but
it does.
it looks like it's 1/4. Yeah,
Yeah,
so it's
it does. I have it in front of me here. It does.
25%. Oh, perfect. So it's 25% can be your Lord of War / Primarch values. Same thing. Nothing has changed there. Warlord traits. This is where it gets exceptionally interesting. Now, someone might be saying, well, why is he not talking about Cybernetica? Why is he not talking about Reductor or Tagmata? For those who don't know what I'm talking about, these were like army choices in rulebook 1, right? You can be Cybernetica, you can be Tagmata, you can be. These were kind of like almost rights of war essentially for a legion. Those don't exist. Those get chosen later, and I'll talk about that later when we get to it. But those don't actually exist as an army choice,
Okay.
and I'll talk about those. Oh, yeah. So you have your allies, which same exact thing.
Yeah, we
Um,
have that chart
so you have
because we have
warlord
it in the main
traits.
book.
Yeah, exactly. So let's talk about these warlord traits. Warlord traits, very similar to the first book. It's worded very similarly, if not exactly the same, and you get one warlord trait per warlord. Um, and the death of the warlord, you lose the warlord trait. So again, nothing too shocking. So let's talk about these warlord traits because I actually used one of these, and I thought it was really cool.
Okay.
So the first warlord trait is bloody handed. Any combat with at least one friendly model within 12 inches of this warlord, or a combat which includes this warlord, gains a bonus of +1 to the number of wounds caused for the purposes of combat resolution. Eh, eh.
It's a free.
And then you get an additional reaction. Yeah, it's a free combat res. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Well,
you do get
it's
an
also it's a.
additional reaction.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Finish.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and you do get an additional reaction in the assault phase. I will point out, though, I should have pointed out first. Cybernetic units, I'm going to kind of skip ahead a little bit. Cybernetic units do not react unless there is a very specific thing with them, usually a Cortex controller, but they do not. So this is major. Your big boy robots are too stupid. So I want to point that out.
It
But yeah, no, this is.
because in a Space Marine Legion, they can take what a Vexilla, which gives you the +1 combat res. These guys don't have that, so I assume they don't, right? They don't have any form of Vexilla, do they?
No, 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 no.
So here's the thing that gives them their Vexilla, essentially, if you want them to have that.
Exactly. I mean, again, it's good if you play an assault army. Again, the cybernetic robots don't really react, but this can be good for like Ursarax, which are the claw-like jumpers. All right, Stoic Defender. This one I do like. Stoic Defender. Any friendly unit joined by a warlord with this trait makes a shooting attack will force the target unit to make a pinning test and suffers any unsaved wounds. And then in addition, you get an additional reaction to the shooting phase. I like this one. Mechanicum is generally a shooting army. You can stick this in a squad full of dark fire cannons which are essentially strength 6, AP 2, 2 shots, the 72 or 48 inches, I can't remember. Gets hot though, so it might get hot. If you will kill something, hopefully with AP2, and you force a pinning check, which is big in 30K 2.0.
It is. Can we discuss what a pinning check and failing pinning does?
Absolutely. Well, you have the rule book actually. I was going to say if you want to read it.
I don't have the rule book in front of me. No.
Okay.
Wait,
So
is it in the Legion book or is it in the main rule book? My main
no,
rule book I haven't even
main
cracked.
rule book.
I haven't even cracked it open yet.
So a pinning check, if it hasn't changed for playtest or really 1.0, I don't think it has, is for every unsaved wound, essentially your unit gets pinned, meaning they cannot react, they cannot assault, they cannot, I think they can move, but they can't also shoot.
Yeah.
And they count as weapons for 1 if they get charged. So it's bad. It's really, basically they're ducking and covering. So yeah, you put them in a squad full of AP2 weaponry, you could lance out, kill a couple people, pin them. That's a very viable tactic. I like this trait. I didn't take this one, by the way. But it is cool.
Okay.
Let me see here. And ever vigilant.
I say
When this warlord, when this warlord or any unit has joined runs during the movement phase, it adds the value of the warlord's initiative characteristic increased by 1 to the distance moved, rather than the lowest initiative characteristic of the unit. And you could take an additional movement reaction. And again, this is, I mean, if your warlord is part of some beep boop robots, they're going to be able to react to the movement phase anyway because of Cortex controller. So, again, it's nifty. But these are core warlord traits, I should point out. This is for any faction.
Yeah.
What's really cool is that when you turn to the next page, right, you get Mechanicum warlord traits. So these are basically warlord traits if you're Mechanicum faction. You're not a mixed faction, or you're not. If you are straight Mechanicum, this is your warlord trait. These ones I actually did start using. So the first one is Soul of Cold Iron. A warlord with this trait and any friendly unit with at least 1 mile within 6 inches that is pinned may still move and declare charges, but is still limited to only firing snapshot until it is no longer pinned. And then the additional reaction is in the movement phase for this one. This one's great. To get rid of pinning is what do you think? Because pinning, again, you can't charge, you can't move, you can't shoot. You're stuck there if you're pinned. And then if 1 mile is within 6 inches, he just goes, nope, you can still charge and still move.
Yeah. No, that's definitely big, especially, well, can you pin the big robots? Are they pinnable?
You cannot.
Okay, so this is just Marmadons and things like that.
Yes. I should also point out the robots aren't great in close combat.
No. Can they be, though? Can you give them good weapons for it?
Yes and no. So I'm going to kind of, again, cut a little bit. Cybertheurgy has changed completely. Before, you used to be able to... It's not a psychic power, but it's a psychic power, essentially a robot.
Yeah.
Where you kind of take a leadership check and you bless the robot with some sort of ability. That's altogether gone. You can't double shoot anymore, thank God. That was a major fucking awful. You can't... so this is kind of... Cybertheurgy has been built into the army to an extent.
Okay.
So yeah, you can't really buff robots the way you used to.
Okay.
But yeah, no, I like this one. I think the next one is the one I got. Hold on. Let me see.
Logic of Victory.
It's either this one or the next one. Give me a second.
Yeah.
No, it's the next one. So
right.
Logic of Victory. If during the Warlord's controlling player turn as an active player, a Warlord with this trait has neither made a shooting attack or become locked in combat or is part of an ongoing combat, then they gain an additional reaction each phase of the following turn as the reactive player. That's excellent. In addition, a Warlord with this trait and any unit has joined gains +1 weapon skill and ballistic skill when making attacks as part of a reaction and +3 initiative or movement when making a move as part of any reaction. So this one's pretty great. As long as you keep your guy behind, you keep him buffing people instead of in combat, he basically gives you an additional reaction for the entire reactive phase, and you get plus initiative or movement, and +1 weapon skill and ballistic skill. I like this one.
Now, I don't know much about your army, so some of this might also be questions that other people who are listening would ask or unsure of. Are your warlords in general independent characters, therefore able to join a unit?
Yes.
Okay.
Now, normally you are not allowed to join monstrous creatures, especially cybernetic units. You can't join them unless you have a Cortex controller. So it has to be a Cortex controller It's the same way your what the hell's he called? The Legion dude who can join Domitars and Iron Warriors.
Yeah, there's
I can't remember his stupid Centurion name.
yeah, I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah. But he gets a
We
Cortex
all have
controller, so he
those.
can. Yeah,
Everyone
yeah,
has those,
exactly.
so anyone can
So
take it. But I don't remember
it's
his
the
name right
same
now.
exact ability. You can't join big boys unless you have a Cortex controller, and some HQs don't have it. So then you're shit out of luck.
Okay.
The
Now,
next one.
but before we move
Oh,
to the
go ahead.
next one, my other question, and
Yeah.
you may or may not be able to answer this, just because I don't know how much you've read through the core rules. I'll be honest, I haven't read through them yet because I'm worried about assembling first. If your warlord is in a unit, because that says if your warlord essentially hasn't shot and hasn't fought, you get these bonuses. If you're in a unit, can you decide not to shoot?
Yeah.
Okay.
You can shoot with the unit, but he doesn't have to shoot.
Okay, because
It's
I know
not
in
an
like current
all or
40K,
nothing.
that's not
Yeah.
the thing. If there's shots, the whole thing is
Yeah,
shots.
you have to shoot them. Yeah, you could just choose
Okay.
not to shoot the warlord. Yeah.
Okay, that's what I wasn't sure of. If you had that choice, but if you had that choice, then that's good.
No, you don't have to shoot him. No.
Okay.
The next warlord trait is oh,
For Forge Lord is
yeah.
the one who can do it.
Oh, Forge Lord. Yes,
Yeah,
that's what it
yeah,
was.
because he
And
has
he
the
gets a
Master
Cortex controller.
Automata as one of his rules.
Yep. All
There we
right.
go.
My favorite warlord trait, though, which didn't really come into handy because I was playing against world leaders, but it seems like a hell of a lot of fun. Is Science of Slaughter. So basically, your warlord gets more and more smart as the combat continues. So on the second turn of combat, so it has to be the second turn, you have to survive. A warlord with this trait and a warlord with this trait is engaged in. On each turn, it is locked in the same combat. After that, it gains a cumulative bonus of +1 weapon skill and strength to a maximum of 10. Once a given combat is ended, the warlord is no longer locked in combat. The weapon skill and strength are reset, and the additional reaction is in the assault phase. I like this one. Now, none of your guys are Eternal Warrior, so this is very risky per
Hmm.
se. So you can just get cut down. But I like the fact that if I'm locked in combat with you can build the characters are very customizable. If you build a close combat warlord and he's just stuck in combat repeatedly, um, he starts getting more and more weapon skill, which I thought is really interesting.
That's pretty funny. And okay, they might
Yeah,
not be Eternal Warrior, but if you don't have a weapon that causes instant death, a lot of this stuff is high toughness, I would think.
exactly.
So it's not dying from the double out. It would be dying because you have murderous strike.
Yes, tyrannic great blades will and always have been our greatest enemy.
That is true. Yeah.
Always. Mechanicum do have an advanced reaction, like
Hmm.
every single Legion does. Again, it's used once per turn, and it's called Scornful Fire. This advanced reaction may be made once per game during the shooting phase when an enemy unit declares a shooting attack targeting a friendly unit with the independent character special rule under the reactive player's control, which is part of the Mechanicum detachment. Whew. Okay, so basically, if your friendly unit with the independent character is being shot, the reacting unit and any friendly Mechanicum unit eligible to make a reaction within 12 inches may make a shooting attack targeting the unit that triggered this reaction and following all the usual rules for shooting attacks. And any units that make a shooting attack as part of this reaction count as having a reaction being made this phase. I'm just going to kind of paraphrase the last paragraph. You can't do this if it's in direct line of sight. So none of your barrage weapons can do this. If it's a vehicle, it does say mechanical unit. So if it's a vehicle, you can only do this with defensive weapons. And template weapons can only be done if it's within 8 inches and must use the wall of death rule instead of firing normally, which is the D3 on Overwatch. As an exception to the usual rule for the Automata types, units of Automata may also make a shooting attack as part of this reaction. So this is kind of cool. It includes Automata in case they don't have a cybernetic dude inside their unit. They can still react using this.
Okay.
I mean, overall thoughts, this is pretty powerful.
No, that is good. So
I
it's
mean,
the one
yeah,
per game.
yeah.
Everything that's close enough gets to react to it.
Yep. Everything gets to fire at the unit that just got that the unit that everything gets to fire. Everything at least within 12 inches gets to fire at the unit that fired at the friendly unit.
That I think no, that's actually very good. because you can only use it
Yeah.
once.
No,
But
and
if you have your stuff overlapped well, whatever I shoot at you with, depending on your weapons, I know that unit that took that shot could just die. So you save
yes.
it for the most important unit. And then you
Yeah.
probably, if you set yourself up well, you might very well just be able to kill my unit. And then that's
Yes.
huge. No, I really like that one. That's a really good advanced reaction.
The very, very good reaction used once. It's like, I'll put it this way, it's like very much all the other advanced reactions. A lot of the advanced reactions are super powerful, but they're only used once. I
Yes.
like the fact that this one can also be like, the Alpha Legion can just be like, oh, you're shooting my unit now, and they just dip and duck out. I
Yeah.
think that'd be funny. But yeah, no, it's a very powerful reaction.
Well, they wouldn't be
Again,
able to.
not
They
five
wouldn't be able
lines,
to do it to
obviously.
this because you can't react to a reaction.
Oh, that's true. You can't react to reactions,
Yeah.
but it's still very cool. Very cool.
Very true.
All right, so let's just dip and dive. Now, I'm not going to go over the units that specifically because, one, honestly, I think the stats are the most important. And again, stats may change, points may change. I think war gear and special rules are pretty much going to stay the same. But other than that, I think pretty much they're going to stay exactly the same. Besides the points, I mean, sorry, stats are going to stay the same. Points are going to change, is what I meant to say.
Yeah.
So what's really cool is that in previous editions of Mechanicum, your Archmagos was had an abeyant that it can take separately as an upgrade, and then it modified the stat line. Now, ladies and gentlemen, you can take an Archmagos Prime or an Archmagos Prime on abeyant. Yay! So it literally it builds the stat line in. So I like that. It sounds stupid, but I actually do like that because Battlescribe never really added the stats properly, so you had to do it yourself. So that is pretty cool. Yeah. So Archmagos Prime, they're both move six. I'm gonna do Abeyant as well, by the way. They're both move six, both weapon skill four, both ballistic skill five, both strength five. The difference is the Prime is toughness five, the Abeyant is toughness six. The Archmagos Prime is wounds three, the Abeyant is wounds five.
Oh wow.
Initiative four for the Archmagos Prime, initiative three for the Abeyant because he's slower. Two attacks for both, leadership 10 for both, 2+ save for both. The major interesting thing about the Archmagos, Dave, and this is what's going to throw a lot of Mechanicum players off, including myself,
Okay.
is that if you notice under unit type, it says Cyberthergist.
Yes.
This is where it gets interesting. So before, the Prime was supposed to be more of your customizable combat character, buff character, whatever. He was never the cyberneticist. That was a completely different unit called the Dominus, which is still in here, by the way. But that was a completely different unit, the Dominus. Now, both the Prime and the Dominus both have access to Cyberthurge's powers. The difference is that the Dominus has more access and more ability to choose more powers than the Prime, which
Okay.
I think is pretty cool. So it's basically, and he's also cheaper as well. He's now basically your shittier version of an Archmagos. But
Yeah.
now your Archmagos can actually do Cyberthurge's powers, and we'll talk about that when we get to that section. But that's something a bit like that is a big change for Mechanicum players. That normally with your Prime, he was built as your close combat character. He's your Praetor. He's
Yeah.
your Praetor. The Dominus is your Librarian. Now the Prime is basically both.
Got it. Okay.
That's like the easiest way to put that. Special rules. He's got all the stuff. I will point out that he has Master Cyberthurgist. We'll go again over Cyberthurgy rules. He has Orders of the High Techno Arcana. Now, this is what I was mentioning before, and I will go over this because it's leaks. But remember how I said that you used to be one of three armies: Tagmata, Cybernetica, or Reductor.
Yes.
Right? These were your kind of your right. The Orders of the High Techno Arcana now build in those three while also including other ones. So now it's kind of all together under that one rule.
Okay.
So there is that. He's relentless, he's stubborn, and he pretty much has all the options, by the way, from the last read edition. So he can pick up all his guns. He's got his rad grenades, cyber familiar. He can do a jetpack. Yeah, he's got literally all of his old stuff, which is really cool. It's basically the same. Oh, I should point out, by the way, this is pretty interesting. One more thing. He's got firing protocols 3.
Okay.
Well, this is big because what that means is you can fire 3 weapons, right? Okay, that's cool. Who cares? Battlesmith allows you to repair a robot as long as you don't shoot a weapon. So if you have firing particles 3, you can still shoot 2 weapons and repair a robot, which is
Okay.
pretty interesting.
Yeah.
That's why that is. One of the Primarchs has that.
I
Ferris
say it should be
Manus.
Ferris Manus, yeah, if
Yeah.
anyone has
He
that.
has he has 3 weapons. And people are like, okay, firing particles 3, but then when does he battlesmith? And it's literally as long as you don't fire one of your weapons, you can battlesmith.
Hmm.
Which is pretty cool. Then again, like I said before, because he's Master Cyberthurgist, he can pick one of the Cyberthurgist powers. So he could choose Cybernetica or Machina. Sorry, I should probably read the full name. Artificia.
Artificia.
Fake Latin. Yeah. Artificia Cybernetica, Artificia Machina, those are the 2 he can select. He can get more depending on the high order he chooses, but those are the 2 he starts with. And then, of course, you have the orders, and these should sound familiar for my Mechanicum players. You have Archimend, and we'll go over each one, by the way. You have Archimendrite, Cybernetica, Lacrimarda, Macrotech, Malagra, Myrmidax, and Reductor. So as you can see, Cybernetica and Reductor are now added into the high order.
Yeah.
The Abeyant is the same exact thing, except he gets one more. He gets one more Cyberthurgist power, I should point out. He gets the Oh, Jesus Christ. GW, I love you, but please with this Latin.
No, just so you know, the ephemera incursus was actually on the other one as well.
Yeah.
It was just
Was
on. It was on
did
the
it
next
just pop
page.
up on the other?
Yeah, no, it was on the next
yeah, 'cause
page.
I have
It was not.
a little black thing. Actually, let me take this off.
Yeah.
Okay, so it has 3 Ephemera incursus. And again, Archimandrite, Cybernetica, Lacrimerta, Macrotech, Reductor. All right, that's really it. Let me see here.
Are those your
Then
HQ
you have the
options then?
Dominus,
Oh no,
and
Dominus.
again,
Okay.
oh yeah, you have tons. Again, you have the Dominus Band and Dominus on foot. The big difference, by the way, I should just point out to make my life easier.
Yeah.
A Dominus on a Band adds +1 toughness and +2 wounds. So
Okay.
the Dominus, for example, is toughness 4. The Abeyant is toughness 5. The Dominus is 2 wounds. The Abeyant is 4 wounds, right? Stat line is movement 6, weapon skill 3, ballistic skill 4, strength 4, toughness 4 or 6, or 5. Sorry, toughness 4 or 5, wounds 2 or 4, initiative 3, attacks 2, leadership 9, 3 plus save. Options as they had before. But like I said before, their Cyberthurgist can they could do Cybernetica, Machina, and Incursus, which is the same as the it's the same as the Prime, but you're cheaper. Like you're paying what 155 points versus what 75?
Yeah,
Back real quick.
but you have a much lesser save.
Exactly. It's
Your
basically again
wounds.
for those who played Mechanicum in 1, there is no difference between now the Dominus and the Prime, other than one is a more beefed. The Dominus now is your Centurion, and the Prime is now your Praetor. Is essentially the best way to put that.
Yeah.
They both get Cybernetica. Oh, now we have a special character, Caleb. No one cares about him. No one used him. Poor dude. Does he have any special powers? Let me see here.
Caleb Decima
cool about
Invictus.
Caleb.
He's got a cool name. I'll give him that.
Oh yeah. Oh okay. So first of all he's Order Reductor. So he's the dude who basically says, "You see that city block? I don't want to see it anymore." That's basically it. Let me see. Now movement 6, weapon skill 4, ballistic skill 4, strength 5, toughness 5, wounds 3, initiative 4, 2 attacks, leadership 10, 3 plus save. He does have hatred of traitors. That's really good because he confers that to the unit.
Yep. And it
He
Norse
is
cover
fearless,
conferred
but
to
robots
his
are
bodyguard
good.
unit.
Ooh,
Nice, yeah.
yes, he does ignore cover. Oh, he gives Sunder. Okay, that's good. He confers Sunder to the bodyguard's unit. That's really good. Okay, that's pretty cool.
Whatever Wrecker is. I don't know what Wrecker is.
Wrecker is buildings.
Oh, okay, that's destruction of buildings. Got it.
Yeah, that's destruction of buildings. And he can take either a unit of Tech Priest or Cybernetic. Oh, wait, hold on. Then why would they have Sunder? Do Cybernetic get? I'm gonna skip. Almost want to skip ahead. Cybernetic are these weird kind of bendily spine things, but I don't think they've ever had really good attacks against. Oh no, that's right. They can like bundle their attacks for like a strength 10 attack. Oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll get to it when we get to it. Tech Priest. You have a Tech Priest, 65 points. I think he's the cheapest.
Oh,
Yes, he
because
is.
now
He
we're
is
into
the
elites.
cheapest of all UHQs.
No, he's a Tech
Yeah,
Priest
this is
Auxilla
elite. Sorry, I
is an
should have
elite.
pointed out. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
so this is elite. Sorry.
So,
So he's the Tech Priest is one Tech Priest, 4 server automata. Again, nothing really changed. But again, he is now a cyber therapist as well. He can take Cybernetica and Machina. What's really cool is that you can still take baby Techno Arcana. So this is kind of like the Techno Arcana that the Prime can take, but they're babier versions, they're weaker versions. So for example, while this unit can use any server automata, you could improve their battlesmith rule to 3+. So on a 3+, you heal a whole point or wound, that's pretty cool.
that's very good.
You can do Lacrimalis, which gives feel no pain 5+. 20 tech thralls he's in, which is also really good. And Reductor is the one with Tank Hunter and Wreck. That's I kill tanks in buildings. So still a very good unit, but again, he's built in special rules for Cybernetica, and he's got baby. This is a new unit. I've never seen this one before.
I got to it.
The Jesus Christ, the
Arcuter Magisterum.
well, sure, Arcuter Magisterium, assassin of the Prefecture Magisterium Paternus Malagra. So, little side note: Malagra are specifically character assassinators. In fact, you can. Let me turn back the pages real quick. Just want to make sure the Prime can take this. Because Malagra was yes, you can. So Malagra was specifically the character assassinator. I'll talk about the rules later, what it gives you, but just to give you an idea what Paternus Malagra is. So, movement 7, so he's fast. Weapon skill 5, ballistic skill 5, strength 5, toughness 5, 2 wounds only, initiative 4, attacks 2, leadership 10, 3+ save. He could take plasma fusels. He could take Paragon Blade. Oh, hello. Okay, he's a character. He can take Paragon Blade. He's loyalist only.
Okay.
Huh, I didn't see
Yeah,
that
he's a
before.
loyalist. Huh.
But he is Monster Hunter, too. Precision strikes. Fuck you, traders. Feel no pain, firing protocols. All right, so so this is what makes him fun. He's called a hunter killer for a reason. He can basically take a unit of Domitar as bodyguard, which those are the big guys, the huge fucking fists, Dave. I don't know if you
Yeah.
saw them
Oh,
before.
yeah,
The
no, I've
big
seen him, yeah.
fists. Who gives a shit about that? I don't give a fuck. He could be the other unit he can be in is Vorax, which is fucking hilarious. So people who don't know who Vorax are, I suggest you pause, look it up on Google. They're fucking amazing. They're chicken walkers. Um, and they're just so fucking cool.
They are very cool.
Because Vorax can outflank. So you can outflank with this dude. With a whole unit of like really angry monsters. So I think that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. That's a pretty cool. Speaking of Domitars, they're
Yeah,
still
that's the next one up.
expensive. Speaking of Domitars, they're move 8, weapon skill 4. Oh yeah, I'm gonna warn you guys ahead of time. The weapon skill across the army is not great. If you're hitting anything with weapon skill 5 or higher, hope and pray. You could buff your weapon skill certain ways with warlord traits or stuff, but just realize that you're no longer if you're gonna do close combat, weaken it. So weapon skill 4, ballistic skill 3, strength 7, toughness 7, 5 wounds, initiative 3, 4 attacks, leadership 7, and 3+ save. They still have their 2 graviton hammers. They still have their missile launcher. Although big thing is now it includes the Ignis missiles. So now you have access to the anti-aircraft missiles if you want. So that's a big thing. Um, that's really it. Just a big, punchy, tough robot, honest.
You can take Paragon of Metal.
Oh yeah, we'll talk about that. Paragon Metal did change a tiny bit.
All right.
Paragon of Metal. So again, to kind of tease a little bit, cybernetic units still have their old rule of must move towards the closest unit, must shoot the closest unit, must charge the closest unit. Paragon of Metal basically stops all that. You become now a unit that you can control essentially.
Okay.
That's all that means.
Useful. Potentially
Anyone with a
expensive, but useful.
yeah, anyone with a yeah, it's expensive, but anyone that's in Automata basically has to follow that rule. They have to charge, shoot, and move towards the closest enemy, unless there's someone with a cybernetic cortex in them, near them, or the Paragon of Metal.
Okay.
Marmadons. Now, I feel like these guys are probably going to go up in points. I know we're not supposed to, I know the points really don't matter, but these guys, oh man. So they're 120 points.
Hmm.
But they're costed very aggressively, in my opinion, for what they do. So there's move 6, weapon skill 4, ballistic skill 5, so they don't twos. Strength 4, toughness 5, 2 wounds each, initiative 2, 3 attacks, 4 attacks for the Lord, 8, 9 leadership, 3 plus save. They still have their refractor fields, so they still have their 5 plus plus save. Prag cracker grenades, they still arm with the power axe. They can still take all their special weapons, so they can still take their fucking. It's a whole list. They
Yeah.
can still take their plasma fusels. They could still take their Volkite charges, graviton guns, their flamers. I think they're a bit too cheap for what they do.
So I
But so I think in old Heresy 1.0, they were 150, which they were way too expensive for what they did. This is 120. What do you think?
so
Looking in.
what now? I haven't played against this army. I haven't played this army. This is the first time I've kind of really looked over these rules. In my mind, for what I've seen out of the other legions, and just when I look at weapon profiles and everything like that, I see 3 guys that are 2 wounds, 3 up save, and I have some concerns of survivability. And I know they have a refractor field, so they at least get an invul and all. But
Um,
I think they're priced probably appropriately, or at least reasonably well, just because of how deadly the game can be.
I mean, I should point out that they can take 2 plasma fusels each, so then it's 20 points each. So that technically 180 if you arm them with 6 plasma fusel, which then makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. I don't know. I don't own them, which sucks because I do want. They're my next kind of purchase list.
Yeah.
Oh, they're also hatred. I should point out that also
Yeah.
makes
I
them
have
really
hatred
powerful.
everything.
Oh, yeah, it's all the Myrmidons have hatred everything. Includes the destructors when we hit them in heavy support. So they reroll hit wounds and wound rolls of 1. Um, I don't know. Maybe they're cost. I don't know.
With
Point is,
having
they're
a 3
really
up
cool though.
save and only 2 wounds for 3
Yeah.
guys, I wouldn't want to see them at more, because then I think they're going to just be, honestly, unfortunately, too easy to kill. Even now,
To be
they're
fair,
somewhat easy.
yeah. At 150, they were almost not auto take, but they definitely hurt when they popped out of their stupid choo train.
Hmm.
So at 120, I just don't want to see them spammed. As the only, I always get I always get worried with undercosted models because then that's the only thing you'll fucking see ever again. Um, but I don't know. It's the 30K crew. No one's gonna spam Myrmidons, I think. Although it would look cool. I think Myrmidons. I dare say Myrmidons are one of the coolest models in the entire fucking Anakin, in my
I
opinion.
think you're also just going to see less spamming in general, because it's one of the other armies that you therefore have to get essentially entirely out of Forge World for all intents and purposes. I know some of the 40K stuff can cross over, and there's certain things you can use and
Yeah.
all, but for a lot of these, like what we might call core units, or like these are your real cool unit, you're getting them out of Forge World only. So I'm not as worried about spam here as I would be in one of the 18 legions.
Okay. Speaking of crossover, by the way, Tech
Yep. Here
Thralls.
we go. There's a crossover.
Speaking of crossover, Tech Thralls.
Oh my
The
god, they're
thing
so
you never
cheap.
buy from Forge World and you just completely redo from your own scrap. Tech Thralls are still the same shit. They hold your line. Um, that's basically what they do. So still 30 points for 10 of them. Still weapon skill 2, ballistic skill 2, strength 4, toughness 3, 1 wound, 2 initiative, 1 attack, leadership 6, 6 plus save. They're still you keep them in the back holding your line. You can still go up to 30, I think. Hold on. Yeah, you
Uh,
could still go up to
yeah.
30. You could still kite them out you could still kite them out ridiculously. You could still do although here's the weird part, the entire squad may be given any of the following upgrades. So it's no longer per dude. So that I'm not sure if that's going to change after the playlist or not, but apparently you can give induction charges for 15, carapace armor for 25, and reverent alchemistry for 25. So now it's that's interesting. So if I wanted, hold on a second, I'm gonna do math here. So it's 20 for 3, or the 3 for 3 per. Oh Jesus fucking Christ!
They're 3 points
3
each.
per up to 20, so 60 points, right?
So how many total do you want to take?
On all of them.
That would
So
be
it'd
90
be
points for a unit of 30.
And then 90 plus, let's say I give them chemistry, which is a feel no pain, although toughness 3. Whatever, fucking fine. 25 points. And carapace armor for 4 plus save. So now you're at 50. So it's
130.
what, 140? 130? That's
Sorry,
not bad.
140, 140. You're right. My
Yeah,
apologies.
140. That's not bad. 30 dudes that have a feel no pain are fearless because you cut out their brain and a 4 plus armor save. Yeah, they'll hold that objective forever. Like, they'll die. And of
If
course,
you need someone to have flamers. If they don't have flamers, it's going to take you a very long time to cut through just that
yeah,
many
no,
bodies.
that's what their job is. I don't know if they kept. I know I'm going to talk about it later. I don't know if they kept. Let me see if I can skip for 5 seconds. I want to see the Lacrimalis rule because Lacrimalis used to be able to. There we are. Da, da, da. No, you can't do it. Okay. Lacrimalis used to be able to, if you lose the unit, you can bring them back on,
Oh,
which I
okay.
thought was the coolest rule. I'm not. What a shit. That was a really funny rule that no one ever used because no one ever spam tech files was expensive. But anyway, this was still cool. Um, see here. Thalax are still your same basic line, still have the same jump. I will say that their gun changed. We'll get
Okay.
to that when we talk about the weapon. Their gun changed for the better. It used to be one shot. Now you can switch profiles between basically a bolter and a more powerful like lightning gun. So I think that's really cool that they were able to do that. Hoping to keep that for the end, please. Still move 7. Well, now they're move 7, weapon skill 3, ballistic skill 4, strength and toughness 5. Nothing changed. 3 wounds, initiative 2, attacks 2, leadership 7. They no longer have the weird chain blade. Now it's just they can take a chain bayonet, which makes sense. They're kind of universalizing that with the legions.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, they still have Jin sight. They still have the jetpacks, which we'll talk about later. They can still take melta bombs. Yeah, so they're pretty much the same. They're pretty much still the normal. These are line troops. They can still do. They can do crazier things with their jetpacks. When we talk about it, they're very funny. All right, let's see here. Cylax. Cylax, 125 points. Move 6, weapon skill 3, ballistic skill 4, strength 4, toughness 5, 2 wounds, initiative 3, attacks 3, leadership 6, 4 plus save. They still have their combat array. They still have their Kraken Bolter. They still have move through cover, night vision. Their support units. They can't really score. I think that's what support unit means. I can't remember for the
Support
life of me.
unit. They. I'm trying to remember out of my head, but support unit, I believe, means that they can't. You can't take them without taking another troop unit, and I don't think
That's
they can
correct.
count
Okay,
for your
they can
compulsory.
score. They can score because they're lying. Oh, they're automata. Never mind. Wait, why are they lying then? That's such a weird. It might be a misprint or something. They're automata, so they shouldn't be able to score, but whatever. They are heavy, which is nice. So you can reroll against blasts and stuff.
True. Can't sweep, but you said they're not great in combat anyway.
Yeah. Uh, yeah. Castellax. Now, this is the biggest change here. This for all my mechanical peeps, this is what you want to know. So Castellax go down in points. They're like 95 now. Move 7, weapon skill 3, ballistic skill 4. This is the biggest change. They are now strength 7, toughness 6. 1.0, they had them at strength 6, toughness 7. Now that those two profiles essentially reversed. So they have a higher strength, lower toughness. Still 4 wounds, still 3 initiative, still 3 attacks, leadership 7, 3 plus save. That's the biggest change for me, in my opinion.
Okay.
Ironically, they're not monstrous creatures anymore. Oh, that's why. Because I remember looking at some of the weapons. The weapons now have the AP profile. So some of your weapons may not even be AP2 anymore. So you have to be careful with what weapons you have. Because before, Dave, these were monstrous creatures, and therefore they just were automatically AP2 essentially.
Yeah, yeah, that was an old thing they
Um,
used to do. Forgot about that.
yeah. So now it's just literally their weapons decide what AP they are. Um, this is a big change. This is a very big change.
Okay.
I won't even talk about Dark Angels, but I'll talk about the game. This goes back to the game I played against World Eaters. Before, when you're playing World Eaters,
Mm-hmm.
you were toughness 7s. I'm charging with chain axes. Sure, they're hitting you on 3s, but they're wounding you on 6s, probably re-rolling. Who gives a fuck? Now they're wounding you on 5s, re-rolling. That is a massive difference when they're hitting you with like 90 attacks or some shit like that.
Yeah.
So they're not as, what's the word I'm looking for? Durable against the close combat that they used to be. Which is good. I'm not mad about this, by the way. I should point out. Not mad about this whatsoever. Um, but yeah, no, that's pretty much my thought on it. Dave, were you gonna say something?
No. My computer froze a little bit, but I'm good now. No, I mean, it all seems good so far.
Yeah,
You know.
it's some of them again very same. They're very similar. The
Yeah.
big changes were the strength and toughness of that, and then like when we get to the special rules, that's going to be a complete shit show. Speaking of shit show, the other big change was the dedicated transport, ladies and gentlemen. You know it, you love it. The Choo Choo Train, Trearos, move 15, ballistical score, still front 14, side 12, rear 12, 5 HP. I think that went up. 22 transport capacity.
It's a lot of guys.
Holy fuck. Yeah, no, it's. Remember, almost all your guys are bulky too, anyway.
Yeah, so you need it.
Yeah, but I was just laughing because what the fuck? It was like 10 before. Yeah, so that's really funny. Still all the same points though. The Arlatax, the flying monstrous creature that doesn't have a model. I was surprised they kept this, Dave, because they pretty much removed everything that doesn't have a model. So they kept the Arlatax, which is interesting because it doesn't really have a model.
They must be planning one, then I would say, if they don't have anything for it yet.
So many people have done so many conversions. I don't think anyone's going to buy it anymore. You take a Domitar and you put whips on it at this point. It's basically a Domitar that flies.
Okay.
Speaking of this, yeah. So movement 8, it's a little faster. Weapon skill 4, ballistic skill 3, strength and toughness 7, 5 wounds. Initiative 4, attacks 4, leadership 7, 3 plus save. Still has the 2 power blades with the inbuilt auto cannon, which is great. Still has a plasma cannon. Has an Uton jump booster, which we'll talk about much later. You can still put arch scourges in it. You can make a paragon of metal. It's still a good unit. I haven't converted one ever, but I mean, it's a flying Domitar who like that's scary as fuck.
That's surprising
Like,
that
yeah.
or if they already have other Domitars, maybe it's going to be an upgrade kit or something. But yeah, you're right. They don't nowadays.
Probably.
They don't keep anything if they don't have a vision in mind. They did for certain special
Yeah,
characters,
it's a
but that was
very
about
weird
it.
Domitars. Yeah, Domitars have been around for quite some fucking time too. So I was surprised when I saw it. But hey, if we get a model, we get a model. We don't, we don't. It doesn't hurt me either way. But it'd be really cool if we got a model because it's very much what the hell's that stupid chaos robot called? The one with all the arc whips and shit. It's gonna drive me up the wall now. It's that stupid chaos robot.
I'll look it up because I can't think of the name either. I think I know what you're talking about, but I'll look it up while you talk about
It's
other
got a
stuff.
bunch of like electro whips. Yeah, so I'll keep going while you look it up.
Yeah,
So the Ursarax are the jump troops that are Thalax with jump packs.
they're the coolest looking one.
Move 7.
Oh no,
Yeah, weapon
the
skill.
the Vorax are the ones I'm thinking. The Ursarax are fine too, though.
Yeah, the Ursarax is the small ones. Vorax are the chicken walkers.
Yeah.
Weapon skill 4, so thank God they're higher weapon skill. By a little bit, but just enough. Strength 5, toughness 5, still 3 wounds, still 4. They went up. They're now 4 attacks each instead of 3. Initiative 2, leadership 7. Still have the lightning claws. I should say now normal lightning claws, which is great. Still have the Volkite incinerator on their chest. It looks like they lost the rule to grab someone and shoot them with their chest beam. No one used it anyway, and they can still take power fists. So, yeah, I mean, I should point out
Nice
that
and
now
simple
power
and
fists
straightforward
lose
for
you.
those ones, at least.
Yeah, nice. Power fists do lose you an attack though, which is very
Oh,
interesting.
really?
Yes, and Ursax with 2 power fists is one of its additional attacks, which makes sense because it's a fucking strength 10 power fist.
Oh,
You're basically punching like a railgun. You basically are a railgun.
are you talking about like a Mauler fiend?
No, I'll find it later. I know it's going to drive me up the wall.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure. I'm scrolling through. I'm just not
There
seeing
is a
something.
chaos model that has like all these weird tentacles and shit, like arc whips, or maybe here's the sad part. Maybe it's a fucking sisters model. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm
Maybe
not sure. I mean, they have models somewhat similar to that, but none that I'm seeing that I would describe the way you did.
it's a sisters model.
It's
God knows
possible.
that Sisters of Battle and Chaos are pretty much the fucking same when it comes to weird shit. Oh yeah, it is a sisters model. Okay. Jesus Christ. It's the Mortif mortifiers. The mortifiers.
Mortifiers, yes. Okay.
Basically, they're the fist weapon autocannons, and then they have the whips. That's how I imagine them to look like, but yeah.
Okay, got it.
All right. Vorax. Still the same. They're moving. Still the movement. Now they're moving 9. They're
That's fast.
poof. They're fast. Yeah, and they get fleet 2, which is even funnier. So they can charge. What is the 9 plus 3? I believe then. Right.
Eight
Movement
nine's a
9 gives you
plus one.
plus 1.
Eight
Fleet.
nine's a plus 1.
Yep. So now they're plus 3 to their charge.
Yeah.
Ew. They did get an automatic deflector. Before, the biggest problem with Vorax is they had no invulnerable save whatsoever. Now they actually have the automatic deflector, which is the dreadnoughts have, or the contenders. That's really good. It's also light, which is interesting. Still strength 6, toughness 6, 3 wounds, initiative 4, attacks 3, leadership 7. Still armed with 2 power blades, still armed with a lightning gun. It has scout, meaning that it can outflank. Because it's weird now. Out and infiltrate confer outflank as a rule,
Okay.
which is interesting.
Thought that's
so
the way it was back in
out-
7th.
Yeah, so it's weird that it doesn't have outflank, but that's where it gets the outflank from. But 65 points. It's still the same points as it was. That's the funny part. Still a good model. I still love the damn model.
Oh, no, they're great models.
Oh, the Voltrax. Oh, the Voltrax. And I'm going to check guns. I just want to check the guns. What the hell's it called? An arc blaster.
Oh, to see what its gun actually does.
Yeah, because before it was a bunch of bullshit. If you have it on your computer, I'm waiting for you to just control F it.
I can. God. Yeah, I can do that. That's fine.
Where the hell?
Well, see how fast it goes. Sometimes I find PDFs on this machine. If I have a bunch of them open, are a little slow. Right now, it just tells me it's working on it. We'll see if it comes up with it though. I probably just got too much stuff open.
Bolt weapons. Ah, here we are. Arc blaster.
Okay.
Disruptions. Okay, so now that I know what it does, it's disruption 4+, and disruption is this. It calls it automatically. Oh no, it's still shit. It's still good. Oh god. Okay. Well, it's okay. So it's less stupid.
Okay.
It's still stupid, but it's better. So Voltrax is the flying. It's actually what you would know in 40k as the I got it got a 40k plague model to it. And I'm trying to remember what the hell it is. It's driving me up the wall. But it's the less corrupted version of that. It's basically a flying robot. It moves 8. It's move 8, weapon skill 3, ballistic skill 5, and shoots very well. Still has the 2 missile launchers, still has the Stratos thrusters, which we'll talk about in a bit, because that's also the flying thing. The arc blaster. So before, Dave, it was a 4-shot haywire gun.
That's good.
On a 2+, it would literally just do glancing hits. So it could literally almost glance out a Land Raider in 1 shot, if you rolled well enough. If you hit all 4 shots and then rolled all 2+, basically you rolled all 2+, and to all 2+, you kill a Land Raider. Because that's what Haywire did. It was on a 2 to 5, it's a glancing hit. On a 6, it's a penetrate. All right? It sucked because it kind of... Yeah, it wasn't great. It was not a feel-good weapon. Now it has Disrupt. And what Disrupt does on hit roll values of X, which is a 4+ for the Arc Blaster, by the way, made by this weapon with this rule, causes an automatic glancing hit against vehicles instead of rolling for armor pen, and an automatic wound against them all with Dreadnought or Automata instead of rolling to wound. So now, it's strength 6, so it really won't hurt anything. Predator's what, front armor 13? So yeah, you can't hurt anything unless it's armor 12 anyway. But now instead of a 2-up into a 2-up, now it's 2-up into 4-up if you're shooting, 2-up or 4-up if you're shooting tanks, or if you're shooting infantry, it still has shred. It still reroll wounds, which is good.
Yeah.
So I like it. It's still good. It's still a good anti-tank drone. Not as impressive as it used to be.
You were thinking, I believe you were thinking the foetid bloat drone is what you were thinking.
Yes, the foetid bloat drone.
Yes. It's a Nurgle unit. I couldn't remember the name either, but I could picture it in my head.
Yeah, it sucks because sometimes you're like, wait a minute, what the hell is it? And I'm like, oh man, it's gonna drive me up the wall. But yeah, no. So it's still a good anti-tank weapon. It's not shit. Don't start throwing your stuff against the wall. I mean, all this can change anyway.
Yeah.
But it's less like, oh, I look at that tank and it's gone. Which, let's be honest, that's the stupidest shit I've ever seen. Haywire 4 is not a nice weapon at
No.
all. Just take a Land Raider off the table, please. That's not a good feeling. I'm sorry. If people could fight me on this,
No one's going
just
to fight you on that. No one
again,
wants where their 125 point
use
model
scout.
has great chances of destroying a 350 point
Change,
model in one shot.
yeah. People do not like change. I can tell you that much. People do
People
not like
always complain
change.
about a variety of things, and that's fine. Let them complain. But no reasonable person is going to say that that's problematic.
True. All right, let's get to the baby. My favorite model, probably my second favorite model, at least in the entire range, the Thanatar, the most oppressive unit that used to be. So Thanatar still it's move 8, which is fucking hilarious, by the way. It's a fast boy. Don't put it in combat though, ever. Please don't ever put this in combat. So it's weapon skill 3, bullet skill 4, strength and toughness 8. So it's heavy duty shit to hurt. 7 wounds, 3 initiative, attacks 3, leadership 7, 2 plus save. So it's still that big tough unit to hurt. Still has the twin linked Molar bolt cannon. It still has the 5 up save, but now the plasma mortar. And I literally turned to this because I wanted to talk about it.
Okay.
They have nerfed plasma very much like they nerfed plasma with legions.
Yes.
So I mentioned the plasma fusel and I mentioned the plasma mortar. Let's talk about both of those. The plasma fusel, which is what you can give your Castellax, and you can give 2 of them to your Marmadons, is now strength 6, AP 4. However, instead of being heavy 2, oh no, it was heavy 3 before. It's heavy 3, breaching 4 up gets hot. So, listen, I'm happy with that. It used to be AP 3. Fuck off. Like getting 6 shots at AP 3 at 120 or at 180 points. That'd be what 3, 6, 18 shots hitting on 2s and rolling 1s. Go home. That's why it was oppressive, by the way, Dave.
Yeah.
They pop out of a tank, 3 of them shoot out 18 shots,
Oh,
hitting on 2s, rerolling. Hitting on 2s, rerolling, and they're AP3.
oh my god.
So it's just, yeah. So now it's AP4, breaching 4 up. Still get your rerolls, but less oppressive. Make sure you get those, those 4 ups, essentially. Good. The plasma mortar, the big one. So this was a large blast, Dave. It used to be strength 8, AP2.
So it even doubles
it is
you out.
36 inches. It used to also have 2. Yes. Now it's 36 inches. So it was weird. If you moved, you only had 24. If you didn't move, you had 48.
So
I
they
guess
split
just
it down the
cut
middle.
to like 36.
Yeah.
Now, yeah, split down the middle. It's strength 7. See, strength 7, AP 4, ordnance 1, breaching 4 up, large blast, ignores cover, pinning.
Okay.
So I like this change. I know people are gonna, hate me for that because they want their AP2 again. But again, first of all, you could double fire it, which was already stupid as hell.
Yeah.
But it was a large blast, AP2, reroll your successful cover saves. Now it's AP4, breaching 4 up, but you get no cover save.
I mean,
I like this, and it's pinning.
yeah. It's
So
very
I do like
it's very
this
clearly
more.
not better. Absolutely no way is it better. But that's a good thing because
No.
one, it's more in line with plasma now. Plasma now is not the AP2 it used to be. It's in general a 4 up to become the AP2 you used to be. Also, I mean, decreasing the strength by 1, at least as of this, and I have a feeling this one will absolutely keep. Decreasing that strength by 1 means that some units now having multi wounds because your vets have multi wounds. Terminator units, some other things having multi wounds means something because at strength 8 that usually doubles out most of this
Just
game.
double them out. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
So yeah, people are going to get upset at that one, but let's be honest, it helps the long-term longevity of the game, and I like that. Which then brings me, by the way, to the other Thanatar. Oh, by the way, for those who are asking, no, there is no double plasma Thanatar on this one. That used to be a unit without a model, Dave.
Okay.
It was a double plasma cannon, but it was a small blast. But it could lay 4 small blasts instead of 1 large blast.
That's
but,
even worse. It's so much worse.
It's so much worse. So the Castellax is still there, still has the heavy las cannon. Now, for those people who are like, oh god, the heavy las cannon sucks. Wait. So the heavy las cannon before sucked. I'll be honest with you, Dave. It was strength like 9, AP2, 1 shot. It sucked.
It was
ladies
a
and
last
gentlemen.
cannon. That's a
It
last
is
cannon. It's
now.
not the worst thing ever.
Yeah, but you see the thing? Do you know what I'm talking about? What the Thanatar is? Have you seen the
Yes.
model?
Yeah. I looked it up.
Yeah.
These are
So
just the
looking
giant
at that, you're like,
robots.
these are your baby turbo laser. Get the fuck out of here. But now, ladies and gentlemen, now it is still heavy one, armor bane and shock pulse. Ooh.
What does shock pulse do?
So
I don't recall.
so shock pulse is an automatic penetrating hit on the value of X. If it doesn't have a value, it's a 6+. Maybe they'll add a value later. Maybe they won't. The armor bane helps though, so you get a strength 10 AP2 shot in. That's on that hurts any tank. The shock pulse, if they don't add a value on a 6 day, it's just an automatic other penetrating hit that you do not roll on the table for.
All right. Let's think about that for a second. I think they have to add a value there because otherwise, if it's already strength 10, then for it not to be penning when you roll a 6 would mean it had to be at least an armor 17. I don't think they haven't put anything in the book more than 14. Even some of the units in the past that used to be higher than 14, they didn't. He's got to be getting like a I don't know, maybe a 4 up guarantees essentially a pen or something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
There's got to be a number. God, I hope so.
Shock pulse. Big thing with shock pulse was Custodes had it, where you would kind of shock pulse tanks to death because our stuff was in high strength, but you would rely on it like scrambling the technology. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, no, he's still in there. I like the fact that they at least buffed his gun because before it was just fucking useless, absolutely useless.
Yeah,
it has armor bane now. I'll take it now for the fucking armor bane at this point, believe it or not, because nothing feels worse than like having a strength 10 weapon and rolling a 1.
yeah.
It's like, oh god, oh god. Here's this big boy fucking las cannon, and it's like, never mind. The Myrmidon Destructor Host. This was one of my favorite units. So these are Myrmidons with a heavy weapon bolted onto their body. They are relentless, so you can move and shoot them. Interestingly, the Myrmidon Destructors, or the Myrmidon Destructor, is infantry heavy, so that's really good. And the Destructor Lord is a character heavy, which is good. Still with the skill 5, strength 4, weapon skill 4. They're still armed with their power fists. Wait, no, they're not.
Shock charger.
No, they're armed with shock chargers. Hello. So they used to be armed with power fists before.
All right. So what's a shock charger do then? What's the difference there?
This is the same thing that a Castellax has. So now I gotta look at this. Shock lance. Oh god damn it! It's on the other page. Shock charger. Strength dash range dash. It's melee AP3. Okay. So it's an AP3 attack.
All right.
Okay. Still good. So it's not a power fist, but now they attack at their initiative is 2.
I would say they attack at initiative, but so they beat out people with power fists. Essentially, is what they do.
Exactly. I like that change. Charging them kind of sucked because they had power in the first place. And it sucked to kind of get struck with a whole unit of power fists. I like them though. Oh, I should point out that they're armed with all heavy weapons, Dave. So they have the conversion beamers, graviton imploders, dark fire cannons. We'll talk about all these weapons. My favorite weapon for them though is the Volkite. Because they have. Did they lose hatred? Oh,
they do not have hatred.
No.
Not at least at the moment they don't.
Yeah. The biggest thing with them was that they had hatred. So you would hit on 2s with Volkite, wound on 2 with Volkite, and because Volkite had so many goddamn shots, you would just kind of drown anyone you're shooting. Because Volkite doesn't have any AP, basically.
Yeah.
AP basically nothing. So you would like drown someone in Volkite and kind of do that, which was a lot of fun. Man. Oh, here we are. What is it? A Volkite what? I'm looking at the weapons now.
Culverin.
Volkite. Culverin?
Yeah, so I have Culverin.
Oh, 5 shots each. That's right.
Oh sorry, Culverin, I should say, but yeah, Culverin.
5 shots. Casual 15-shot squad. Hitting on 2s, wounding on 2s.
And relentless, so because that's a heavy weapon, so relentless means they can actually move and still fire normal.
Yeah. I loved the Myrmidons with Volkites. I had them once and then I sold them and I kind of regret that. But I ran a squad of like 6 with Volkite. They used to be heavy 4, not heavy 5. Can be 24 shots hitting on 2s, wounding on 2s. And it was funny because it was like, oh, that's not gonna do anything. I get my armor save. but you're going to get like 22 armor saves on a unit.
Yeah.
And it's Volkite, so you have deflagrate, so any wounds I do, I roll again. It was kind of just a weight of armor saves, which is awesome. It was awesome. The Karachnos, I'm not going to spend too much time on. It still has its missile mortar battery, which we will talk about. The mortar battery, they did buff this a lot. This is the train tank, Dave, with the missiles on its back.
Got it. Okay.
It's got like missiles inside the tank. They did buff this a lot, so I'm going to talk about the weapon when we get to it. And then the Creo Squadron. What's interesting is that they now are in one unit. So it's Battle Tank or Venator. They still have their weapons. I mean, again, there's nothing much to talk about. The changes weren't that big. It's move 16, though. I will put it down.
Very, very fast.
It's a fast move 16 vehicle. Yeah, it's going fast. I will point that out. It does have flare shields, too, which is interesting. Flare shields for my non-30k players, but my Legion players. Flare shields basically reduce the strength of a weapon by 1, I believe.
Yes.
When shooting from the front.
That is what a flare shield does.
So basically, it's armor 14 in the front. I will point out the knights. The biggest change with knight. These are I shouldn't call them knights. These are armigers. The biggest change with armigers is that they now have a strength and a toughness, very much like contemptors do. They are faster. They still have the same strength and toughness, 7 and 7, 6 wounds, 3 up save, 3 attacks. Still can take Volkite, Siege Claws, blah, 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 blah. They have a rad. So I don't know if this is a misprint, by the way, but this is amazing. Fuck, now I'm going to figure out if this is in their old rules.
The rad furnace?
A rad furnace. Yeah. Hold on. They never released rules for them. It was on PDF. Just give me 5 seconds from in this podcast. And now, Moirax Knight. If that thing had a fucking rad forge before, let me see. Did they post the rules in Forge World? Modes. Yep, there we are.
Yeah.
Horus Heresy rules.
I mean, I can't imagine they put that.
Oh, it did have a rad. Okay. It did. Okay. I was gonna say I never noticed that a rad. So for those who don't know what a rad forge is, rad forges are anyone locked in combat with. Normally they're like rad grenades. So for those who don't know, rad grenades are the first turn of combat. You're -1 toughness, major, right? Rad furnaces, you're -1 toughness when always locked in combat with this unit. It's not just the first turn. So that's pretty cool. That's pretty neat. Styrax is there. Megara is there. I'm not going to really talk about these. I will say, I should say the Ordinatus is still there. We'll talk about there. The Ordinatus is the big train with the gigantic. I will say that Dracovac, Dracovac, I swear to God. So Dracovac and Scoria are still in the book. Okay. They're in Persona Schismata, which is basically all the special trader people.
Okay.
Dracovac was a useless character. Now he's actually fucking amazing, which is great. He has the Warlord trait, Cruel Taskmaster. Any friendly unit at least 1 mile within 12 inches with this trait fails a morale or pinning check. The controlling player may choose to remove a single model from that unit as a casualty without armor saves or damage mitigation rolls being made, and they automatically pass. So, it's basically a commissar rule, which is great. The Liquefactor, Liquefactor. I was right. There's an R in there. What's really cool is you can exchange all of his attacks for a Liquefactor attack. It automatically hits. It can only be used on a single model in base contact. In initiative step 1, you roll 2d6. If it has a toughness characteristic, they suffer the number of wounds equal to Drakvac's roll minus their toughness value and AP of 2, which is fucking awesome. I love that. Because you can spike this with like a 10 roll, and most things are toughness 4, and they take 6 AP2 wounds because it automatically hits.
Yeah.
If the target has an armor value, reduce the roll valued by half the armor value struck. The result is number per turn hits the back of the vehicle suffer. So basically, he's liquefying you, which is great.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool. He also, I believe, let me see here. Maybe taking a yeah, so he knows Artificial Machina, Ephemera and Cursus, Jinskine, that's just increased the ballistic skill by 1. That doesn't change, guys. So yeah, and then Scoria. Scoria has changed a lot. He's not a Primarch anymore, guys. I hate to tell you, he's only 365 points. Still move 9, Spire. Weapon skill 5, ballistic skill 5, strength 5, toughness 7. Okay. 7 wounds, initiative 5, 4 attack, leadership 10, 2 plus save. Still has all the guns in the world, by the way. Still has 2 pistols, a photon thruster, a machinator array, which has guns built into it. He's still 10 bulky. He is Eternal Warrior. He is Eternal Warrior.
Yeah.
Thank God. Yeah, no, it's still fire porticle. All right, so he has, first of all, the Warlord Trait Forbidden Forbidden Protocols. Any friendly unit made up entirely of models with automated unit type that have at least one model within 6 inches of this Warlord may make reactions, ignoring the usual restrictions in the automatic unit type. In addition, they could take, an additional reaction in the movement phase. Yep. Amazing. So what's really cool is Scoria's old fluff was that he, would basically experiment with shit that he shouldn't have experimented with.
Okay.
And he used to have a right called Right of the Beast, which was, he still has, funny enough, that's the funny part, we'll get to that in a moment. But basically, he used to program shit that he shouldn't have in the robots, which would make them go crazy. I like that this is Forbidden Protocols makes now robots react. That's amazing. I love it. I should point out that Scoria also doesn't have a smaller base. He only has the base he came with, which is a display base of I think it's 100 millimeters. It's either an 80 millimeter base. Oh, God. 5 seconds. Scoria. It's actually not expensive.
Yeah, because all the Primarchs have their big display base, but then they have their play base, which is like the 40 mil bases or whatever size they are, but the standard base. Or they have their giant 100 mil round base or oval base.
Annoyingly enough, it doesn't tell me the base size. That's kind of annoying. Oh, there we go. 80 millimeter. Sorry. 80 millimeter. So his base size, ladies and gentlemen, during the game is fucking 80. He's a Leviathan.
It's a big base.
He's a Leviathan in the middle of your fucking squad, which is hilarious. It's a great model, by the way, though. If anyone picks him up, excellent model. So he's got the Voidian Scepter still. This got nerfed, guys. So before, Dave, this used to do D3 wounds for every wound that it did.
Oh.
Which was wait, to the unit.
Yeah.
Not the model, to the unit.
Yeah, so that way, yeah.
So if you hit 4 times and wounded 4 times, the unit took 4d3 wounds, not the model.
That's awful.
Now they changed it to be the model instead of the unit, and then they changed it to this. I should point out, by the way, we mentioned who would get brutal. Domitars are definitely getting brutal.
Most definitely.
Maybe those are the guys with the big fists. Thanatars are probably getting brutal because they're so fucking big. I think this weapon's gonna get brutal as well.
I think it has so many other things, but I could see it getting brutal. Yeah,
exactly.
Brutal too.
Like I said, if not, no one cares because it's got so many other things. So it's plus 2 strength, which makes it strength 7, AP 2, 2-handed, so you can't technically get an extra attack here.
Yep.
Armor Bane, Exo Shock 4+, Mortar Strike 5+. So, yeah, not bad. I should point out that he also has Rights of the Beast, which means he's got Artificial Machina, Artificial Cybernetica, Incursive, and Arcana, which is the different one. And that's pretty much the unit settled. The rest of this is going to go by very quickly. But that's basically the units. I will point out that the playtest does have Titan Legions as well as Knight Legions. To give you an idea, the big thing with Titan Legions and Knight Legions is that now you are supposed to take armigers for every Knight taken, right? So now you can't just spam Knights. Now you actually have to take armigers per Knight. And I believe it's 2 armigers per 1 Knight, which makes sense. No, don't spam Knights, essentially, is the rule of the game here.
Yeah.
You have to take armigers. So that's pretty cool. All right. Let's see. All right. So now let's get to the special rules. This should take the last bit of us.
Okay. Very good.
All right. So this is, I don't know what page it is. I'm on Automata, Appendix Unit Types.
I'll get to it. You can talk about it. I'll scroll my way through.
Yeah.
I'm on all kinds of units.
So again, they have the Automata rule, which, funny enough, exists in the main rulebook. For those who don't know, they're fearless. If you're poisoned or fleshbane, you must reroll successful wounds against them. You may not make reactions, and you can't join a unit that does not have the Automata rule. Of course, this changes if you have Cybernetic Cortex, but for now, keep it at that. Cybernetic subtype. So the big thing that they kind of condense program behaviors. So models with the cybernetic subtype are subject to the program behavior special rule. During both the controlling player's shooting phase and charge subphase, an automated unit must attempt a shooting attack and or it must attempt a shooting attack or charge if there is an enemy unit within range, and it must be the closest enemy unit possible that is within line of sight and is valid target for shooting attack or charging. I should point out that it doesn't force you to move towards the closest target. That did change. So I do like that. So technically, you can move and adjust who you're firing / charging at.
Yeah, you have some control.
That's good. I like that. That was good. That's good. A model with the cybernetic subtype may fire all weapons, including as part of reaction, if this is eligible, obviously. Because remember, cybernetic is usually automata, and they can't do reactions. Models with the cybernetic subtype may fire heavy and ordnance weapons, counting as stationary, even if they moved. That goes for the Thanatar, essentially. And you ignore any penalties to initiative characteristic when charging into or through difficult, dangerous terrain. So basically, robot. We'll talk about program behavior. That was program behavior. Sorry.
Yeah, it's a program behavior.
That's cybernetic. Not too bad. Guardians. So these are your Cylax. I know I'm saying them wrong. I know for a fact, and it annoys me. So Cylax are guardians.
Okay.
They can embark freely on vehicles, fortifications. Basically, these may be joined by friendly models with the character type, and normally they can make reactions, even though it's normally restricted. If a unit contains any models with the Guardian subtype, as well as any more models with the character type, any wounds of which will be allocated to the character, even those caused by precision strikes or sniper special rules, must be allocated to the model with the Guardian subtype first. That is massive. That is, I cannot stress how big that is.
Yeah, it means you really can't pick them out.
A lot of sniping.
Yeah.
Yes. That's your job. I should point out that unless they're joined by a character, so people who are like, oh my god, it takes so many Cylax. If you're not joined by a character, you reduce your movement characteristic by 2 and you can't run, and your initiative characteristic becomes 1, basically. So join them with a character, please.
Yeah.
Paragon. So this is what you were talking about, by the way, Dave, the Paragon of Metal.
Yes.
So models of the Paragon subtype are not affected by special rules that negatively modify their characteristic, other than wounds or hull points. A model with the Paragons. Oh wait, no, it isn't. Oh, it's not. Oh, I guess this is added to the There's a Paragon of Metal rule in here, but this adds to it, I guess. So they fire all their weapons, shoot attacks, including as part of reaction. All right, whatever. Armigers are stubborn. They fire all their weapons. Any fleshbane or poison reroll successes. They can fire ordnance. You can't join armigers. And unique is unique. Okay, so that I told you, that was quick.
Yeah.
Now we get to the Cybertheurgy. So this is the biggest change. In 1.0, Dave, Cybertheurgy was essentially a table in which you chose what the robots would do. You roll a leadership check with some modifiers, and then they would get that modifier, that one model. So you pick a model, leadership -2, he can fire all his weapons twice, but then can't fire in the next turn. Stuff like that. All of that doesn't exist anymore. For the people listening, that does not exist anymore at all, and no longer. It's very much now like psychic powers. So psychic powers now are basically a leadership check. If you fail, there are wounds. If you pass, there's, it happens. Basically, every Cybertheurgist power comes with a power and a weapon. That's basically what it comes down to. So it comes with power and a weapon. And anyone who's a Cybertheurgist can take one of these categories. So I'm going to very quickly go over this. The weapons, basically the rules of the weapons are they fire in the same way as other weapons, and or they're melee, as in melee. If you fail, you take a wound. No invulnerable saves, no damage mitigation rolls. You just take a wound. And so let's talk about the Cybertheurgist stuff. So the first Cybertheurgic rite, even this Latin, is
Artificia Machina.
Animatus.
Yeah. So that's the Arcana that you're in.
Page?
This is page 104. It's in the same thing, but then right underneath, it's the Animatus Intergo.
Oh, I see. Okay, so Animatus Integro.
Integro.
So this is, I know. So this, let me actually do it like this, so I'm not like you can flip me here. So Animatus Integro. So instead of basically the power, I should say, instead of making a shooting attack, basically, you may apply the effects of any version of Battlesmith special rule to a vehicle, dreadnought, or armored unit within 12 inches. So basically, you can repair something out of 12 inches, and the Battlesmith special rule is applied twice without further roll. So you can, instead of repairing an additional wound, you can repair 2 wounds.
Okay.
Or 2 weapon destroyed, or whatever.
But that's if you make the check.
Yes. Oh, I should put, anytime you fail, it's a cyberthergic feedback. They're all the same.
Yeah.
If you fail, you get hurt.
Yeah. The way they've done...
So if you pass, you make a Battlesmith roll.
No, the way they've done psychic powers, and it's the same way they've done these, is that you get a base effect, and if you want to take essentially the leadership check, if you make it, you get a better effect. If you fail, you take some wounds, and then you get the previous effect.
So it's repair 1, double repair, or sorry, 1 Battlesmith out to 12 inches, which is good, by the way. Battlesmith is only in the unit or within a certain, I think it's 2
base
inches.
Contact.
I'll check it later.
That's like base contact.
Oh, there we go. Now it's out 12 inches, so it's really good. So you can repair a wound or repair something out to 12 inches, double repair for a leadership check, or suffer a wound. The weapon that they have, hilarious, by the way, is and by the way, the weapons are, I think, if I'm not mistaken, I'll check each one. But every weapon, in order to shoot it, you need to attack. In order to attack with it, you need a leadership check.
That is the same as psychic weapons. No, that's the same exact way all psychic weapons work.
Good. So they literally copied and pasted then.
Yes.
I'm happy with this.
Yeah.
That makes it good. So it's 12-inch range, strength 1, AP 1, and you might be like, who the fuck? What? Assault D6, Haywire, Data Gin, Cyberthergic Focus. And Cyberthergic Focus is the I'm not gonna keep repeating that one. That one is the if you have to take a test. So Assault D6 Haywire, which is that's not bad. that's a that's Haywire is on a 2+.
Yeah.
You do a wound. Not do a wound. You do a glancing hit.
Yep.
On a 6-up, it's penetrating, and it's AP 1. So meaning if you do a penetrating hit, that gets modified.
Yeah, it's a +2 on the table.
I like it. Don't get he. What is it? Barks scrap code at you? Is that essentially what it is? Yeah, he barks scrap code at you.
Yeah.
That's great. That's great. I'm trying to find what Jin does. Jin's
Data Gin, we went through that.
No, so that's Jin Skine.
Oh, yeah, you're right. That was Jin Skine, yeah.
One ballistic skill. Oh, and these are not in alphabetical order. Oh, my God. Yeah, that's not going to... I'll let Dave find it while I go to
I'll
the
take a
next
look,
one.
see if I can find it.
Yeah, Jin... What is it? Data Gin?
Data Gin.
No idea, actually.
I'm taking a look. Data Gin. When allocated to a model that does not have the Automata, vehicle, or dreadnought unit types, or is not a building or fortification, any hits from a weapon with the special rule automatically fail to wound without any dice being rolled, and regardless of the weapon's strength or a target's toughness. So
you cannot target infantry with this guy.
If it's not essentially,
Awesome.
if it's not vehicle-like, you can't even attempt to hurt it.
Not even mad. That's pretty fucking cool. It's literally a vehicle killer. All right. That's pretty cool. Next one, Cybernetica Exortis. This one's a big one, so bear with me here. So instead of making a shooting attack, the cyber surges with this with this thurgic right may select a single friendly unit with the Automata type within 12 inches and apply one of the following effects to all the models. So, you can apply this. So I'll just go over each one. When making a charge roll an additional dice, discard the lowest.
Yep.
That's pretty cool. The unit, not each individual model, ignores the first wound inflicted upon it each shooting phase. That target the turn the power is used, simply discard the wound allocated to a model. Okay, that's cool. A free shield. The unit adds +1 to its ballistic skill for the remainder of the shooting phase. That's pretty great.
Yeah, that's a good one.
So now you start hitting with 2s with those with the stuffs. And until the start of the controlling player's next turn, as the active player, the unit may ignore the restriction against making reactions suffered by so you can basically allowed to give reactions.
Yeah.
And then if you want to check for it, then you can apply it to 2 units instead of 1. Okay, I like it.
No.
Fun
You read that wrong.
Wait,
If
then
you
2 options may be applied.
if the check is successful,
sorry,
then
yes.
you choose 2 options to the single unit.
That's really good. Oh, that's really good. Oh, okay. So fun fact, Dave, by the way, this was the old this is almost all of the old Cybertheurgy table.
Okay, just involved in this one power.
Which, fun fact, it's called Cybernetica anyway. So that was the old cybernetic table. But not to a T, but close enough. It's cybertheurgic weapon. It also has datagen, so you cannot affect people with this. Thank God, because it's strength 10, AP 1, assault 1, instant death, cybertheurgic focus.
But you can affect dreadnoughts.
Yes. That's what I was going to say. Why the instant death? And then I realized
it's dreadnoughts.
You can affect dreadnoughts with that. You can do D3 wounds. Yeah. Okay. I like this. This is cool.
That's strong for
Let's
sure.
Let's go to the next one. Fuck you.
Ephemera Perfidia.
Yeah, Perfidia. Instead of making a shooting attack, a Cybertheurgist with this Theurgic Right may select a single enemy unit within 12 inches that is composed of models with vehicle or automatic unit type. Okay, so you have to select the vehicle or automatic type.
Mm-hmm.
The Cybertheurgist controlled player may immediately make a shooting attack as if... The Cybertheurgist controlling player may immediately make a shooting attack as if they control the chosen unit. This shooting attack may target any unit that is considered an enemy unit by the Cybertheurgist controlling player and is made as snapshots. The Cybertheurgist may choose to make a Cybertheurgy check before making the shooting attack. If successful, the shooting attack may be using the Cybertheurgist BS and is not made as snapshots. Okay.
But this one has...
An enemy unit used to make the shooting attack...
with
this right may attack normally in its controlling player's turn and gains the hatred Cybertheurgist special rule for the rest of the battle.
Yep.
He got pissed. That's great. Okay. So to summarize, within 12 inches, you choose an enemy vehicle or automatic shooting type. They can fire on anyone that is you consider as an enemy, as snapshots, or take a check at its normal ballistic skill. But after that is done, they hate you for the rest of the game.
Yep.
That's great. What's funny is, I wonder if Titans are considered vehicles. Fucking take over a Titan plasma, like macro plasma cannon. And
they'd have to be called vehicles. Something. What else would they be?
That's fucking hilarious. I like this rule. Outflank this asshole and then just take over a bunch of demolishers, or like one demolisher. I like this. This is cool.
I mean, I'll look it up real fast, but I can't imagine a Titan not being a vehicle, unless they call. I don't know.
Probably like a Lord.
Do they give Lord Titan of War a separate thing? So when I look at Questoris, Atropos, it is vehicle in parentheses knight. So yeah, the only thing would be if they remove that part from it.
That's my Warlord Titan now. Great. James, if you're hearing this podcast or if you listen to us, can't fucking wait for you to put your Warlord on the table. That's fucking great. That puts a smile on my face. It's 12 inches, but fuck it, that's hilarious. All right, it's special weapon, 24 inches, strength 3, assault 6, datagen, blind, vox silence. Got a bunch of fucking rules here. So I know what blind does. Blind is great. Take an initiative test or you're blinded. Weapon skill 1. Unless it's skill 1. Datagen, you can't affect units. What the hell is vox silence? Oh wait, I saw that before. Hold on.
I'm on it right here. So any model with the infantry or cavalry unit types in a unit that suffers 1 or more hits from a weapon with a special rule must reduce their leadership by -2 until the start of their controlling player's next turn. Ooh. Units that include 1 or more models with the stubborn special rule will ignore it.
Okay, so you could target infantry, won't damage them because it's datagen, but if you hit them, you reduce their leadership by 2. I like that. That's fucking awesome.
Well, that's what you go against, because then you also blind them.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. I love these. I didn't even look at all of these yet. Like first reactions. I use like one of these. All right, Ephemera Instigare. All right, we did this one over here.
No, you have not
Portopractic.
done. No, you have not done
Oh no, we did Instigare.
Ephemera Instigare.
Oh, apologies. Whoops.
Yep.
So, instead of making a shoot attack, a cyber surgeon with this theurgic right may select a single friendly unit within 12 inches that is entirely composed of models with the infantry unit type, and is of mechanical faction. So, none of your big robots. Only
Nope.
Castellax and smaller. The chosen unit may immediately move a number of inches up to its unmodified initiative characteristic directly towards the nearest enemy unit. If the chosen unit has mixed initiative characteristic, use the highest. Okay, that's cool. The cyber surge control player may choose to make a cyber check for the cyber surgist. So okay, so basically, untested, move your initiative or move the highest initiative. Thank God for that, because most of our initiative is 2. If the check is successful, when you check, you get Hammer of Wrath and Furious Charge. Okay, very close combat-y. I like it. I'd be really good with like Castellax and like Chain Glaives or whatever they're called. Your special thing is a melee weapon. Oh, our first cyber surgical melee weapon. Strength X. Oh, it's Fleshbane. So 2+, AP3, concussive 3. Holy fuck.
Yep. And Radphage.
Radphage is if you take a wound from this, you're for the rest of the game -1 toughness.
Yeah.
Ish. Yeah, so definitely a close combat. I like it. Okay. Put that away. So this is for Reductor. I should point out that each one of these, the Arcanas are for different things you take. Like the last one was for Lacrimalis or Lacrimata. The one before that was Incursus. This one is Reductor.
Yes.
Probably should have mentioned that.
That's
So
okay.
here's the Reductor one. Portafractus. I think it's in order anyway, so let me just check something. Cybernetica, Lacrimata. It's not in order. Whatever. Who cares? These are all playtest rules. Instead of making a shooting attack, a cyber surgeon with this may select a single building, fortification, or enemy vehicle that has the enemy unit embarked within it and is within 12 inches of the cyber surgist, and must then make a cyber surgery check. Oh, so you have to.
Yeah, there's no base for this skill.
Okay. If the check is successful, then the enemy unit embarked on the chosen target unit must immediately make an emergency disembarkation. And once the disembark is checked, you take a pinning check. Ooh. Now you can't do this on a super heavy or a flyer, obviously. Fucking Thunderhawk rolls on the table. I want you to leave. No, that'd be funny. No, but I like this. Force someone to come out of their vehicle so you can shoot them.
Is there a rule in a Thunderhawk that you can't get out?
No, you absolutely can. It's called hot dropping. On a 1 or 2, you just die.
Okay. So it's not an emergency disembark. That's why you can't do it.
Yeah.
Okay.
You should die on a 1 or 2.
Well, no, that's fine. But you're saying the reason you can't do it is because the rule is different. It's not emergency disembarkation.
It's at the very end sentence, this cybersurgic right
now. Oh, okay.
Flyer super heavy. Yeah. You can't dump a flyer on the ground, which I would fucking find hilarious, but and you can't do that. Cybersurgic weapon, it's another datagen, so can't affect normal people. Melee, strength 10, AP 1. Jesus Christ, anti-tank. Armor Bane, Exoshock 3+, unwieldy, cumbersome, cybersurgic focus. So you can only make 1 attack.
Yep.
It's unwieldy. It's Exoshock 3 up, so you get an automatic penetrating hit on a 3+, strength 10, AP 1, Armor Bane.
Yeah, you'll get your 3 up.
Yeah. Okay. So now let's get to the spices.
All right.
So as I mentioned before, you have the high orders of the Techno Arcana. These are things that kind of got built in from your Cybernetica, your Reductor. All of that is now here. Also with Malagra, Lacrimata, which I like. I like that they added it all together. Let's go one by one. I mean, they're not that long. So you have the Archimandrite. And I'm going to, again, mispronounce every one of these. Oh, I should point out that I think they all have the same. No, they don't. Okay, good. So Archimandrite, first of all, this model has to be the Army's Warlord. It'll be the addition of you can have an allied attachment or whatever. So a model with the special role may select an additional cybersurgic arcana from those available to it. So you can get another arcana, which is cool. Master Technomancer, models with this Battlesmith X rule, special rule in the detachment, and include a model with the special rule, so he's in the army, may add the following effect to the list of options they may apply to Automata, Dreadnoughts, or vehicles targeted by the Battlesmith X rule. Until the end of the shooting phase, the target automatic dreadnought or vehicle may make a shooting attack using the ballistic skill of the model that successfully used the Battlesmith X rule. So you can use his ballistic skill, which is usually a 6 and 5, which is great. Until the end of the shooting phase, the target gains the power of the Machine Spirit special rule. This effect may only apply to vehicles. Okay. So, what do you think, Dave? Give your Cybernetic Automata.
So these are your... Is this essentially your army special rules? Like if you were a legion, this is your legion rule?
Yes. These are kind of your rights. This used to be old. So the weird part about this is, and this is why I got confused when I first looked at this. Before, Dave, you could choose 3 armies: Cybernetica, Reductor, and Tagmata.
Okay.
Then you can have a Magos Prime take special, high orders, right?
Okay.
Now, there is no Cybernetica and Reductor. They're added in here. It's actually the next one we're going to talk about. But Archimandrite used to exist before.
Okay.
So that used to be you can be Cybernetica and also Archimandrite. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Now, it's all part of one thing. It's all part of one high order.
Okay.
Which now determines what your army is going to be.
Okay, so you could be Archimandrite, or you could be Cybernetica, which then tells you things that you do. Okay.
Yes, and you can't take more than one upgrade. I was reading. There's a single high Techno Arcana. So that's Archimandrite. You repair better, give Machine Spirit, and you can make your robots hit on 2s, which is not bad. Technically, hit on 2s then 4s. No, 2s then 6s. What's a
Ballistic skill 6 would be 2s and 6s.
2s and 6s.
Yep.
Not bad. So now, like I said before, Cybernetica is one of the high orders. So no longer is it an army rule; it's a high order rule. But your high order gets applied to the army anyway. So it bundle it in. And I like this one. This one's going to be my favorite. I'm going to be using this all the time, Dave. So, all Castellax Battle Automata maniples in a detachment that include a model with the special rule get the line subtype. So now, all your Castellax are line, which is hilarious. Your big boy score, which is exactly what you want. Now, this is ironic because you don't want them close anyway.
Yeah.
Because good Lord in heaven, they suck at close combat. But really great if you're holding an objective, because before, in 1.0, they never held objectives. They actually had a special rule saying they never held objectives. So this makes me a little happy. Also, when making shooting attacks, models with the automatic unit subtype and a detachment that include a model with the special rule reduce the benefits of cover save the target unit has by -2. So a 4+ becomes a 6+, 5+ being ignored entirely. If the shooting model is within 12 inches of 2 or more friendly models equipped with Cortex controllers.
Okay.
So so you have to be within 2 or more friendly units with 12 inches equipped with Cortex controllers and also in the squad with this dude with those special rules. Is how I read that, by the way.
Well, then so I agree with the last line. My part is, as far as I understand it, so your army could be Cybernetica, which means that your automata unit types in the detachment have this rule as long as they have 2 or more friendly models with Cortex controllers within 12 inches. They don't have to have some other special guy in the unit at all.
Oh, true. Oh, wait, hold on. Include them out with this. Yeah, you're right. Oh, that's weird. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's you've made your army to be Cybernetica. Cybernetica means your battle automata or your automatas have cool special rules. That's essentially what it means. You know.
Well, and the last thing, a model with the special rule gains the Patris Cybernetica special rule. In addition, when joined to the unit with automatic unit types, any wounds which will be allocated to a character may be allocated to the model with the unit automatic unit instead, even those caused by precision strikes or sniper. So basically now everyone is guarding everyone.
Yeah.
I like it only because when I bought my Mechanicum, oh Lord, have mercy, 9 years ago now.
Oh, wow.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, no, it's an old army. I'm almost all cybernetic units. That's what I liked. I lost every game, but it was fun. Lacrimarda? Basically,
Marta,
any
yeah, I
hits
think that's
allocated to a
fine.
model with a special rule, or any model with infantry unit type that they join with Rending X, Poison X, or Fleshbane only wound on a 6. Great.
Okay.
Or only affects the model on a 6, I should say.
Yeah.
That's great. There ain't nothing bad about that. Um, oh god. Okay, so I'm not going to read the entire thing. Basically, if you're Battlesmith, during the shooting phase, you can hold on. Yeah, you can. Okay, so during the shooting phase, if you're a Battlesmith, you can restore a lost wound. Right. This will not return a model, so you can't return a model to the unit, but it'll return a lost wound. Or this unit may immediately move a number of inches equal to the initiative characteristic, the majority miles of the unit. This movement is not running, and therefore, if the unit did not run in the movement phase, it can still make a shooting attack and declare a charge. So you can still shimmy and shoot and charge
Yes.
if he's in the unit, which is cool. I like that.
Yeah, Lacrimata is for your infantry,
Yes.
essentially. That is your infantry legion.
Yes, and that's what that was. By the way, that was the one that brought back units. By the way,
Yeah.
macro tech,
No,
macro
last one is
tech.
Sanguine Hook under Lacrimata.
Oh, that's just you get the ephemera lacrimata
Okay, got
arcana.
it.
Yeah,
Oh,
the last one
and
is
you
also
don't get to
always kind of
select
like
any
yeah,
others.
yeah. You can't take anything else other than that.
Yeah. All right, so now it's Macrotech.
Macro tech. These guys, if I remember correctly, were the old tech priests. Let's see here. Oh yeah, there we
Yep.
go. Tech priest auxiliary units in the detachment that include a model with this special rule may be taken as a troop choice, but they're not lying very specifically. However, any tech priest auxiliary that are taken this way must choose the engines here, Techno Arcana, so they're forced to take that Techno Arcana. Again, it has a battlesmith rule. It can affect buildings, vehicles, dreadnoughts, or automata. And it's until the start of the controlling player's next turn. Any hits allocated to the chosen model with the breaching X, Exoshock X, or rending X only affected on a 6. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Stop Exoshock from hurting your vehicles or breaching. Um, this is weird. The Moderati Munitoria. During the game setup, but before objective markers have been placed or deployment has been determined, that player that controls a model with the special rule may choose to alter the terrain setup of the battlefield. That player that controls a model with the special rule may choose up to move 3 pieces of terrain, each up to 6 inches, so long as their final position is not within 2 inches of another piece of terrain. That's cool.
That's cool, although it's sort of for what I believe this game to be, for a lot of intents and purposes, not a really good ability. Just because you're probably working with your opponent to make a cool table, unless you're doing like alternating placement. Uh, it's not bad,
True.
like it's cool, but to
It
me,
might
it's
change to
like,
like, I bet you anything. The original rule is pick 3 terrain pieces and they just don't grant cover saves.
yeah,
Um, that's what it might change to. But I do like this one. It is kind of cool. That's like, you thought you were fighting here, but
yeah,
alas.
it's neat, but it's probably not as
Yeah.
impactful. I don't feel, at least.
So Malagra was the other one I'd like to take, Dave. This was the
Okay,
very anti-character assassin. So first of all, any models with the character subtype in this detachment that include our Archmagos with a special rule, pardon me, may upgrade a Machinator array or servo arm that they are equipped with to include an inbuilt prehensile data spike for 10 points. So now we gotta fucking go all the way
all right.
back here.
I'll look up Data Spike.
Hell's a data spike?
I'll look it up while
Five
you
bucks.
talk.
Yeah, but I'm curious. Oh, I see it.
It literally only shows up in these two spots.
Yeah. So it's strength 5, AP 4,
Okay.
melee breaching 4 plus, murderer strike 5 plus, reach 2. Oh, so
So
you get 2 plus initiative. Huh.
no, it's
So you're
actually really good.
striking. Yeah, I like that a lot.
Yeah.
Just stab someone before they stab you.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Okay. Um, let's see here. Tech Priest Auxiliary units in detachment that include a model may choose the Interfector Techno Arcana instead of Engine Seer, Lacrimalis, or Reductor options. And you can also give them prehensile data spikes. Oh, that's hilarious. And you also gain Scout.
Yeah.
Oh my god. It's everyone's killing everyone. So Sacred Mission, a single Arcana or Magisterium unit in a detachment that includes a model with the special rule, may be taken as an HQ choice. A unit taken this way loses the Hunter Killer special rule. That's the assassin one,
Yeah,
right?
you
Yeah.
can take an assassin as your
And
HQ.
instead getting the Scout and Court of Executioner special rule. Okay. A unit with the special rule may include up to 3 Accurate Magisterium for 110 points each. Oh, that's so cool. When deployed on the battlefield, either at the start of the battle or when arriving from reserves, all models with the special rule in the unit must be deployed within unit coherency, but then operate independently. That's that's awesome.
Yeah, so you can bring a bunch of them, essentially.
That's that's pretty cool. And they like you purchase them as a squad, but they act independently.
Yeah.
That's great. And their scout, please. Oh, that's so cool. Oh, that's so cool. I love that because that's the whole thing. They want to kill. So, Syndex Malagros, a model with a special rule gains the preferred enemy characters, precision strikes 5 up, and the Monster Hunter special rule. In addition, a model with a special rule increases the weapon skill characteristics to 5 and attack characteristics to 3. So, funny enough, that didn't change at all from the last edition. They still go up to 5, they still go up to 3 attacks. Precision strikes is new, but preferred enemy was still there.
All right.
That's again very much character killers. God, now I kind of want to run fucking like units of character killers and just challenge away to everything. That's hilarious.
Well, yeah, and that's the idea. They get +2 to the initiative, so the hope is that they swing first with this essentially instant death weapon, potentially instant death weapon.
Oh,
Murder
so
strike.
Cool. All right. A single Thanatar. Sorry. The next one is Myrmidax, I believe. Yes, yep, Myrmidax. I love these two because Myrmidons are cool. A single Thanatar Castellax unit in the detachment that includes a model with a special rule may be taken as a non-compulsory HQ choice. That's cool. This model may not take the Paragon Metal upgrade, while wholly within 6 inches of the Thanatar Castellax taken as a HQ choice in this way. Myrmidon Secular Host and Myrmidon Destructor Host gain the line subtype and add +1 to wound score. Use determine if they win combat in the assault phase.
They're sitting together on objectives, essentially.
Yeah. It's cool. It's cool because the Thanatar is going to back anyway. Yeah. You put Myrmidons in the back protecting the Thanatar, and it's your HQ. Yeah, I like it.
And here comes your Myrmidon hatred.
Yeah, it just basically makes it so you never get that objective ever.
Yeah. No, I meant with Myrmidon Lord. Yep.
Yeah, model. Oh yeah, no, he also gets hatred, everything, and relentless. That lasted from the last edition.
Here's the note: it's not him. This is your army rule. So
no, a model with the special rule.
Yeah.
So he becomes the Myrmidon Lord. So not everyone gets hatred everything.
So who becomes the Myrmidon Lord?
The character that becomes the Myrmidax. Unless it says the army gets it, he gets it.
Wait, okay, so it says Myrmidax, so it's a model with this special rule. So you have to... You see what I mean? For the other ones, it wasn't an individual.
Yeah, no, this one is individual, a model. He's the Myrmidax. The other ones were army-wide, like Cybernetica was. All Castellax Battle Automata get this. Or Preservation Protocols. A model with this gains the patch of Cybernetica. That's him. A model. So he's the Cybernetica model. He can't be picked out by snipers. But when you look at Cybernetica, all Castellax get the get the line subtype. He gives that to the entire army. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but that means right now the Myrmidax thing is missing something because it's not saying who. A model with this special rule.
Yeah, the model is the person who has the Myrmidax rule. When you choose the what are they called? The high Arcana rule, they gain this title. So they gain this rule.
So they
become an art. Go ahead.
But so
yeah.
So okay, that includes a model with this. Okay, so it's your leader gets this rule. That's it.
Yes.
Okay.
Now, fun fact: if he joins the unit gets it as well.
Okay.
But it confers to the unit.
Okay, because the other one's mentioned detachment. This one is the particular model. Okay.
Yes, this is
all right. Not as cool then. I don't like this one nearly as much.
Well, hold on. Myrmidons can be taken as troop choices. That's awesome. They're not lying, but that's pretty cool.
The secular host can be.
Myrmidon destructors can be taken as elite.
Yeah, the destructors are elites and the secutors are troops. Non-line troops. They would be line if they were close to this particular Thanatar Calyx.
It's cool. They can't hold the objective if they're dead, Dave.
Very true, but I don't know. I thought they were getting, because I know certain parts of that don't have hatred whatsoever. I thought the Myrmidon Lord was the way they got hatred. So
No,
just
no,
some
no,
of
no.
them currently do not. Okay.
And then we have Reductor,
Yep.
the one that no one takes. I wonder if it still gives you extra heavy support. I bet you it does. So, Reductors get Demolisher, models that have Battlesmith,
Currently no.
that include the models with Battlesmith special rule in the detachment, that include a model with the special rule may target buildings with the Battlesmith rule. So you can heal buildings, apparently.
Yep.
Fortifications. In addition to vehicle dreadnought and automata, however, they may neither choose any options in the Battlesmith rule that restore lost wounds or hull points, nor options that repair weapon, destroy, or mobilize health. They instead may only choose from the following. So it modifies the Battlesmith rule.
Yeah.
So they can cause a target building to lose a single hull point.
Yep.
Okay. They can inflict an automatic wound with no save of any kind to a dreadnought or an automata. They can inflict an automatic weapon destroyed result on a building or vehicle, but you don't lose a hull point. Or you can immobilize the vehicle and you also don't lose a hull point. Okay. That's actually kind of cool.
Yeah, you hurt instead of help.
Yeah, that's actually, I'll take that. Harbinger of Devastation. During the game's pre-setup, but before objective markers have been placed or deployment has been determined, the player that controls a model with a special rule may nominate up to 3 areas of terrain, building, or fortifications. If the chosen item is an area of terrain that provides cover save, then that cover save is removed. Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, it's from
And that
Reductor.
cover save is removed, and the area counts as both difficult and dangerous terrain. Oh my god. Fuck off. If the item chosen is a building or a fortification, then all rolls on the building damage table made for that building or fortification get a modifier +1. Oh my god, dangerous terrain? Fuck out of here. Oh, Dave, you know what dangerous terrain is?
Yes. No, it's same old dangerous terrain there always was in the past.
No, but they changed it. It's no longer you got armor save against this. You
No.
used to get an armor save
No, you
against
didn't.
dangerous terrain.
Originally, no, you did not.
In the 1.0 heresy, you did.
Not
Now
not
it's
in
just,
7th edition 40K.
no, I
And
know.
there
In
you did not.
1.0, you did. Now it's fuck you. Oh, that's cool.
Or
Oh my
maybe you did
God.
in
Can you imagine
7th, maybe not in 6th. But old edition
you
40K,
imagine
you
like
got
an
no saves.
entire forest in the middle of the table, and you're just like, that's dangerous terrain now, bitch.
Yep.
Oh my god, ew. Secrets of Annihilation. A model with a special rule gain the Artificial Reductor. Okay, so they get their cyber, and you can't select any of their cyberthergic rights other than the Arcana.
Yeah, there's a few. There's
Um,
only like 2 of them where it's essentially you
Yeah,
only get our Arcana. And that's what it does.
and that's pretty much it. I mean, the
That's
Mechanicum
plenty.
special rules are the Titanicus. You have Arctic's Defensor. That's fine. You have Armiger and Moriax Talons, where they you buy them together, but they operate independently. What is Binaric Stratagems? Is that? Oh, that's for Titan Legions.
Yeah,
That's for
it's
Titan
Titan stuff.
Legions. They have the little infantry on the floor, the Secutari, Blind Barrage, Catastrophic Explosion, Disruptor, Destructor. All of these are
These are the
Jin Sight
special
we
rules.
talked about. Yeah, Jin Sight cover save is still -2. Give me a second. Grav Wave. So this is what the Domitars have. If you try to charge them, it's disordered. Um, let's see here. I'm trying to see if there's anything that really changed in 5 seconds. Paragon of Metal. Sorry, here's the big one, Dave. You were asking about.
Yes.
Only one model can take it. It has to be an automatic Cybernetic unit, obviously. This rule confers the Paragon subtype, which we talked about before.
Mhm.
It also confers Relentless, Precision Strike 4+, Precision Strike, Precision Shots 4+. It will not die 4+, and Rampage 2. And you also increase its wounds, their weapon skill by 1. So that changed a lot from the last one. So you increase weapon skill, you increase wounds, you have precision shots and strikes at 4+, will not die at 4+, and Rampage 2. I mean, if you're outnumbered, you get 2 extra attacks. So if you put that on the fucking flying Domitar bullshit guy, the Arlatax, that's a scary ass motherfucker.
Here's the thing, though. Shouldn't have to make. Because you talked about being a Paragon means that it doesn't allow you to do reactions though. So mods with Paragon don't get negative modifiers to their characteristics, and they may fire all weapons they're equipped with in each shooting attack they make, including as part of a reaction. So you're allowed to shoot them all. It doesn't mean you get to make reactions though.
All right. So you
Yeah.
can't make reactions, but it's still. I mean, again, why would I?
Well, you can if you have someone with a Cortex controller and stuff like that, but it doesn't
You can put this
guarantee
on a
that you can.
Vorax. Yeah, put this on a. How many put this on a Vorax? Put this on the Harl attacks that has 6 wounds. Now it has 7 wounds. Repairs itself on a 4-up. Gets an extra 2 attacks when it's outnumbered. Can choose who it hits with its stupid. Yeah, no, this is great. I like it. Okay. Prison, reverent alchemistry. Oh, apparently they're not fearless anymore. So I made a mistake with the thralls. Now alchemistry just gives you hatred of everything and feel no pain 5-up. So it's not fearless and feel no pain. So they can't stay away.
Yeah, that's
maybe
that's
actually
rough.
Getting that dude that kills someone and they don't run away is actually really good.
It's necessary now on that unit.
Let me see here.
You have toughness 3 guys with 6-up saves. You need something to make sure you don't run.
Sectars can be purchased together, but then they operate independently. Weapon strength above 10. Yeah, so now let's just talk about guns. I'm going to ignore all ones that are in the legions.
Yeah.
Like Arcanic pistol, that's a legion gun. Honestly, nothing much change. The arc pistols are now disruption. Arc blaster, arc lance, the lightning gun. So I did mention the lightning gun from the Castellax. It did change. So originally, Dave, it was 1 shot at strength 7 AP 5, rending 6+. Right? With shred. Now it's strength 7. It's still 18 inches. Strength 7 AP 5, heavy 1, still heavy 1, rending 4-up shred.
Yeah, so it's better.
Okay. It's better, but you can also, for the people at home, you can also switch it to a strength 4, AP nothing, heavy 3, shred. So you have options now. So if you're like, there's a big unit closing in on you, you could switch to the heavy 3 shred gun and just kind of shred them. It's nice. I like it. The lightning cannon is still AP 3. And the lightning lock is still AP 3.
Yep.
It's interesting because it's a blast weapon. Lightning cannon is the armage. No, I think it's the. Hold on. Where's that?
A big gun. Normal stuff doesn't have that weapon.
Yeah. Where's that stupid 18 move tank that we were laughing at? It's right here. Right here. Hold on. Oh my god. Give me 5 seconds. The Caracnos Creos. Here we go. What the hell's it called? It is called a lightning cannon.
Yeah, lightning cannon.
Oof. So it is still a large blast AP 3.
Yes.
With shred. So that thing still is going to. So still shoot that thing heavily is the keywords there. Let's see here. I'm not going to talk about Titan weapons. Nothing here matters. Yeah, that's all big boy shit. Bolt pistols. Mauler bolt cannon is now pinning. But no, it was pinning before, so who gives a shit? Yeah, not many changes. The conversion beamer, that's on Space Marines.
Yeah, that'll match exactly what's in the current books.
Lasm pulsar, galvanic weapons now. Graviton weapon. So yeah, the graviton weapon we can talk about because the graviton hammer is the fist.
Yeah.
So it's still a template, heavy 1, concussive graviton pulse, and haywire. So you can still concuss something before you charge them, which is really nice because it's on the hit now.
Yeah.
Or sorry, the successful wound technically.
Yep.
Photon thrusters are still blind in lance. Let me see here. Meltas are still meltas. Turtle lasers. We already talked about the Solex heavy las. Let me see here. Plasma Fusel. The plasma we talked. I did mention I want to talk about the Caracnos. So, the Caracnos is now 60 inches, strength 6 AP 4. It's a massive ordnance blast, which is fine. Barrage, Fleshbane, Radphage. So now it wounds on a 2+, and anything it wounds, it will
remove toughness from them.
Reduce the toughness.
Yep.
Ignore cover. Pinning. Shell shock 3.
Yep. So that's what a pinning test at -3.
Pinning test at -3.
Yeah.
And crawling fire means you can move it up to 2 inches if you in any direction you want.
It doesn't leave the board; it stays.
Yeah. Yikes! It's
a good weapon.
That's a good weapon. That's gonna hurt. The Volkite, that's all in Legion stuff, and then melee weapons. You still have the Arc. The Arc Scourge is still amazing for the flying Domitar. That's what that gets, Dave. It's still +2 strength, so strength 9, AP 3, Rampage D3. So fun fact: if you give it The Paragon of Metal, now it's D3 plus 2 technically, if it's outnumbered.
Yeah.
And Disruption 5 up. The Cybernetic Combat Array is still the same. The Chainblade and Chainsword got the Shred rule.
Yeah,
Todd
that's
Hammer. Yeah, it's Concussive 2. Armor Bane. They added Armor Bane. Okay. It wasn't Armor Bane before when it was Strength 10, but I'll take it. Graviton Ram. Fucking Ram. Jesus Christ. Let me see. Thunderstrike Gauntlet. A Power Fist is still there. Machinator Array. Oh, I will point out that the Machinator Array. So, if you go to Servo Weapons, Dave.
Yep. I'm on it.
Machinator Array makes 2 additional attacks per turn. So that's still there, guys. It's 2 extra attacks. It's its own thing. You get it at Strength plus 1. It's not plus 2 anymore. Melee, Unwieldy, Shred, Armor Bane, and it's AP2. And if you have a Machinator Array, you get a Flamer and a Melt-A-Gun and Battlesmith plus 2 to the repair roll. So it's really, really good. If you want to repair. Machinator Arrays are still one of my favorite things. Shock Chargers, which are what the Castellax have. Siege Claw and a Melt-A-Bomb, Volcan Incinerator. And that's... the last thing I do want to talk about is the jump boosters.
Okay.
Because that I feel is like
that's under what, the war gear?
It's the third to last page and the second to last page. So you have the straight off thrusters, the Inculabin jetpack, and the Utan jump booster. So let's talk about these.
Okay.
The Inculabin jump pack or jetpack, sorry. Essentially, you gain bulky 2. You can deep strike. So on and so on. But a unit entirely equipped with the Inculabin jetpacks may choose to increase its movement characteristic by +6 and ignore terrain while moving during the movement. At a unit that ends or begins movement in a dangerous terrain will still need to be dangerous terrain test as normal, even when deploying jetpacks and treats difficult terrain as dangerous terrain. In addition to the bonus to move during the movement phase, a unit equipped entirely with the Inculabin jetpack may make an additional move of 6 inches during the shooting phase. You can move through the shooting phase.
Yeah, they get jump, shoot, jump.
Yes. This move must be taken after the unit has completed shooting and is not limited by the weapon fired. And it basically ignores all the rules. It does the same rules as last time. Fun fact, it also works during a reaction. During any reaction that allows the unit to move, you can increase that move by 6. So it's really cool. And I believe the Inculabin was the Thanatar. Oh, shit. Was it the Thanatar?
I don't know. It's okay, though. It's one of the units. It's all right.
Yeah, I think it's the Thanatar. I'm pretty sure. It is the...
it's the Castellax cohort. Castellax cohort.
Castellax, yeah. That's your Castellax. The Stratos, this is the big bug-like plane with the haywire gun. Or no longer haywire, sorry. Stratos thrusters are unique jump pack variant. A unit composed entirely with the Stratos thrusters may set its move characteristic to a value of 16. So it's no longer flying, I think, by the way. I'm going to keep reading, but I think they got rid of it as a flyer, which...
Yeah, according to this, now it's not.
Oh, my God. When it was a flyer, Dave, and it was a monstrous creature, it was fucking impossible. Like, imagine it flying around the board with 4 haywire shots, and you only hit it on 6s.
That's rough. That's real rough.
Yeah, rough. For the duration of the control, this unit allows you to move up to 16 inches, regardless of the movement characteristic, including the bonus to charge. In addition, Stratos thrusters allowed to hover above the battlefield and ignore the effects of dangerous terrain and difficult terrain. Good. So it's basically a low-hanging hoverboard. Okay, good.
Yeah.
Happy they got rid of flyer. Get the fuck out of here. Bye. And then Utan. Utans are for your Ursarax. These are the guys with the claws. Basically, it sets your move value to 12. It's basically, I put it this way. It's a Astartes jump pack.
Yeah.
It's an Astartes jump pack.
Exactly, yeah.
With a couple of differences, but it's an Astartes jump pack. And that's pretty much it. Most of the changes were very minor changes to stats, but the biggest change was the change to Cybernetica, which now works like psychic powers, and everyone gets it. And the changes to the high Techno Arcana, which me and Dave were kind of talking about before. Your Warlord gets these abilities, but might also transfer to the army as well.
Yes.
Yeah, no, so that's everything, really.
Yeah, and the way I see it looking through it, to me, it kind of feels like the only main change I'm looking to see is some things getting brutal Um, Beyond that, I'm not sure if we'll really see a change on much. We
Oh,
didn't.
I'll be honest. When I was playing it, other than me not knowing what the fuck to do with Techno, Arcana, and Cybernetic, I'll be honest, that was new to me. Um, but to be quite honest, I like these changes. The fact
Yes.
they got rid of flying from the bug creature, thank God, because that was honest. The double shooting is gone, so you can't double shoot Thanatars anymore. So get good or target your shots correctly. And it's still listen. It's still is it rending or breaching? It doesn't matter. It's still something four up.
It's
So
should
you're
be
still
it's
gonna hit
breaching
if you
four
have like
up.
a squad of 20 dudes.
Yeah.
Yeah, you still hit like 12 models in a squad of 20 guys. You're still wounding on. You're still gonna kill what 6 models on AP2.
Yeah.
So it's not like it's dead. It's not just going to kill 14 fucking models in one shot.
Yeah. No, the plasma changes in general are very good feeling changes for the game. And they're very good for the
Yes,
health of the game because plasma was something you could always have. And if it's always AP2, it's always a sort of feel bad. Now, at least half of the time, it is. There's models out there that AP4 matters for, but for your standard army, AP4 we don't care about. So half the time, I can still get a save against it.
100% agree. I like these changes. I like where they went for this. I like the fact that now Cybernetica can take Castellax's line units. That's a huge fucking change. Before they didn't score at all.
Yeah.
I like these changes. And in fact, I want to play Malagra. I want to play Myrmidon. I would want to play Malagra. The fact that you can take units of those little assassin characters,
No.
it's fucking hilarious. Please don't change that GW in the final version.
I,
Please.
I don't
That's fucking
I
great. It's
don't foresee a
hilarious.
lot of changes. Again,
Yeah.
this is sort of a final playtest that they had, and a lot of the playtests they liked what they had by the time we were able to find these sorts of things. So I think it's going to be pretty set. I'm interested to see once they finally give us these documents that they said we were going to get that we haven't gotten yet. I am hoping we
The
get it
whole entire
somewhat soon.
three-tiered. You will get the PDF. You will get the PDF before the books. You might. It was such a weird. I don't even know what.
We're going to get them at some point, and it's great when we get them.
Yeah.
And right now, honestly, unless you were influential enough that you got stuff early, no one's playing the current game right this moment anyway who's new because you haven't put their stuff together yet. And anyone who's
Exactly.
been in for a while is still reviewing and maybe picking up some new stuff. So like, it's fine if it takes another week. I would just hope by July we have it because in my mind, that's when a lot of people are going to start doing the escalations
Exactly.
or
Well,
really start getting games in.
the Mechanicum book was clarified to be released in August.
Yeah.
We don't know when in August. Probably the second week of August is when they like. But it's definitely the second week of August. Um, if it's before, I would love it. I got a friend right now who's waiting on Knights.
Yes.
I got someone who's waiting on Knights. I have a bunch of people waiting on Solar Aux who don't have a Legion, although they just built one right now. But they're waiting on Solar Aux because they want to try their Imperial Guard. Solar Aux. So yeah, I'm hoping GW. I have my Demon Army that I'm painting.
Yep.
So yeah,
Yep. You could add Alpha Legion, but you changed your mind.
I did. Rather stick with what I know. Plus, it gives me more chances to buy more mechanical models. God, I really want those Myrmidons. And I didn't
Myrmidons are
really
very
want
cool.
to. The axe with the double shoulder gun, in my opinion, just really cool.
Now, the mechanical models are great. My only problem is they're all forge rolled resin stuff.
Yes.
And that's
Although,
my problem.
like I said before, rumor is that Thalax and Ursarax will be getting a plastic kit.
They
I'm
moved
not
some
sure
of
if Castellax are,
yeah, if they move
but
some of that to plastic, then I will look at them being an ally force.
well,
Absolutely.
honestly, if Thalax, Ursarax, and Castellax move to plastic, that's pretty much everything. That's literally the only thing left are now Domitars, Voraxes, and the tanks. That's literally it.
Yeah.
Or the Myrmidons, of course. But yeah, no. I'm hoping it moves to plastic because then it gets more people in. But yeah, no, I'm excited. Overall, if I were to give it like a two TLDR, don't give a shit. Didn't want to listen to the entire podcast. I like these mechanic rules a lot. I think they add a lot. I like the fact they universalized. I love so much they universalized the thing that they kind of universalized the organize this. We'll talk to you. That they universalize the
Special
high
rules of it.
orders.
Yeah.
Yeah, special rules. It's no longer I'm a cybernetic unit, but also I'm Malagra, but also I'm.
Yeah.
I like that they did that.
I
It does cut down on some options, but if Dave, if
That's
you
fine.
look at the amount of options they have in the first place, it doesn't cut down on shit.
It is in line with the options that any other army has.
Yeah,
That's what it boils down to. You get as many options as anyone else. You're essentially picking you have your psychic power tree, you have your legions. You have all those things that everyone else has. I personally like how you did your TLDR of maybe if someone didn't want to listen at the end of the recording. That's what I like. For anyone who didn't listen to the very end of this recording where we're talking about it now, here's my thought.
yeah. If you skipped all the way to the end, it's good changes. You might not be happy with some of the changes because they got rid of flying on the big boy, but the change. Let's be honest, the changes are for the better health of the game.
Yeah, they're all good changes. Everything's seen as a good change. In general, in the game, as far as I can tell from what I knew before, and I didn't know tons before, from everything I've seen so far, it seems like every change is so far at least a good idea. Now, people haven't really started playing that much yet. Give it 2 months, people get some games on their belts, and then we might start feeling differently. But at least for the moment, it looks good.
Yep.
The game in general.
Can't agree more.
Yep. All right. I think that gives us plenty. Maybe what we'll try and do, if I can get Dan to do so, is to give like a brief, not on this, maybe a little write-up sort of thing of like, here are the top 3 things that have changed to keep in mind, so that way if someone has an army and wants to play it, hey, here's like the main key differences. Go play your old rules, play all that stuff, just change these quick little things, and then you're kind of good to go. Unless you can find a copy of these, rules. Obviously, we're not sharing copies around, but if you can find them, and it's out there. But if you can find it, use it. But all right, I think other than that, I think that does it for us for this evening. And that'll do it for us tonight. Hopefully this discussion was somewhere between either entertaining or useful for people. We just thought since GW hadn't put out the files that they said, and we, through various means, had our hands on these playtest files, which are out there if you look for them, we thought it might be useful to actually take a look at it, especially for anyone who has a Mechanicus army or is considering them. When this releases, I am going to have Dan, at least in terms of our YouTube, have a short list of the overall changes, or the biggest, say, 5 changes. That way we have something, if someone doesn't want to go back and listen to all of this, that way they can catch what the big changes are and they can actually play with their models now while we wait for GW to actually put it out. As always, we do want to thank you for listening. Next week we get back to our normal schedule, at least that is really our hope, and we really want to start diving into sort of Horus Heresy in its entirety. In particular, we think our first episode, other than just sort of discussing what we have out, what's here and all, we want to go through how to do escalation leagues, especially as you want to give people some time to build their stuff and get ready. So most of the ones that we're running, I'm running 2 different ones, as well as I know Steve is running one. A lot of them are starting in July, either right near the beginning or about the first week in. So we want to make sure we have an episode out to discuss that before you actually have to or would want to be starting escalation leagues. As always, if you want to reach out to the show, our Gmail is trainkickersnj@gmail.com. This week I'm going to be working on putting a Facebook together as well, just that way we have that. It's a nice place to be able to either get information for us to share more things in between episodes, for us to share other things that we're working on, and for anyone who's listening if they want to have more communication with us. So on behalf of everyone from the show, have some good hobbying and some great gaming.